Mitsubishi summer sales event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 mpg highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility. $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 006839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 000688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. And Barnes hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker.
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. The weekend is just about here, and it's the start of the college football season. We are fired up. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on this Friday, August 25th, 2023. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisures, where family and fun come together. Maybe this weekend you want to check out their summer clearance sale. They got deals on spas and pools, patio furniture, play gyms, so much more. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. If you are getting ready to head out of the household, again, broken record with the weather, another hot, humid day. We're talking about excessive heat warnings once again throughout the day. In fact, all the way until tomorrow night at 10, an excessive heat warning is in play. Also today, an air quality alert until 5:30. Isn't that good news? Currently, it's 80 degrees, sunshine, humidity at 87%. With a feel like of 88, we're looking at a high, triple digits, 100 degrees. Again, heat index around 110. Tonight, a few clouds, low 79. And then again tomorrow, hot with a high near 101. That is the weather. And again, unfortunately, a broken record. And for all those playing high school football, yikes. Of course, they have their rules and regulations. And we'll talk to John Varlas more about that. If all the games, will go on as scheduled. Some have already moved the start for the kickoff to a little bit later on in the evening. Coming up on the program today, as I mentioned, John Varlas will join us. He does every Friday from the Daily Memphian. He'll be in studio at 7:25. At 8:05, I guess now it feels like college football officially because Tony Barnhart will join us. Mr. College Football will be here in Memphis on Monday to speak to the Touchdown Club of Memphis. And then at 8:25, we'll talk some soccer with Lawrence Dockery. Memphis 901 FC has a big one at Charleston tomorrow. They're coming off a scoreless draw the other day. But also the Memphis women's soccer team, Brooks Monaghan and his team, ranked 17th in the nation. And they routed Ohio State last night 6-1. We'll talk to Lawrence about that, about Messi Mania, and all that good stuff from the world of soccer. At 9:25, we'll do 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, give you a chance to win a great prize package. Of course, you could always be a part of the program. Hit us up. We love your calls and texts at 901-360-8255 on the Sports 56 listener lines. You can also send us a message, a comment, a question, a concern. Send it to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, most social medias, platforms. And again, we're happy to have you on. If you're watching us, hello. If not, you're just listening, that's fine as well. Or you can hit us up, of course, at the website. That's sportsmemphis.com. That's your lineup for today. Of course, the World Cup for FIBA is underway. The United States will begin action tomorrow. They are in the Far East, in Manila, in the Philippines, and action is already underway with that. NFL final weekend of the preseason as far as games are concerned. Then it'll be a week off, and then the season will start in a couple of weeks. So we got that going on. As I mentioned, the start of the college football season. Got the Tour Championship going on and some low scores yesterday. Cardinals make a move with the quarterback situation with Kyler Murray being a little bit suspect. So a lot happening here in the world of sports. Eli, good morning. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to everybody out there.
Zach, how are you doing on this Friday?
What'd it do?
Did you have a great National Burger Day yesterday? Did you celebrate with a burger?
No.
Oh, well,
I celebrated with some soup yesterday.
was it burger soup?
No.
Well, darn it.
Trying to remember what I had.
I don't know when. I'm not sure when National Soup Day is. So
We can find out.
I didn't have a burger yesterday, though. I forgot it was National Burger Day. I had a salad and pizza for lunch, and I had a steak for dinner. So I had some meat, but not hamburgers. I have hamburgers so many times. I probably average a couple a week.
February 4th is National Homemade Soup Day.
there you go.
Homemade soup day.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just go to the store, go to Kroger, get a
Is there a national?
get a can of Campbell.
Is there a National Soup Day for those soups that aren't made? Why do we have to discriminate against those soups that are not homemade?
Right. We like the canned stuff, too.
I love me some Campbell's Chunky Soup.
Yes, I do, too.
Sirloin burger.
That's
Matter of fact, I
mine.
go sirloin burger.
That's mine.
That could count. That's like Burger Day and Soup Day combined in one.
I eat that stuff, too. The sirloin burger, chunky soup. Yeah, so
I'm going to include it with the National Homemade Soup.
Well, we'll just say that, I mean, it was made somewhere in somebody's home.
Yeah.
Well, we are fired up. Again, it's a limited schedule, week 0, but games will be played tomorrow. You'll see Caleb Williams in action, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, as USC will play San Jose State. And in Dublin, Ireland, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Navy Midshipmen. Let's get you fired up for the opening weekend of college football. How about a little fight song for the Irish? You can argue it's the best fight song out there. I'm saying you can argue it. Doesn't mean it is. But it's always one that fires me up. Of course, you think about the movie Rudy, which touched all of our lives, did it not? That's Notre Dame. They're the heavy favorites. Zach is shrugging his shoulders. Guess you're not a real sentimental guy when it comes to Rudy.
Well, again,
Rudy Rudiger, my friend.
The movie came out before I was born. So.
Yeah, but you've probably seen it, right? You can watch movies that have come out before you were born. You know that,
I know.
Right? Okay.
But it wasn't it wasn't a sentimental tie, I guess you could say, for me.
Well, when Rudy got in the game and he made the sack, come on.
I have met the actual Rudy.
So have I. Did an interview with Rudy. I did it at the Madonna Learning Center here in Memphis a number of years ago. He was a cool dude. Not a real big guy as far as height, but, he's wide and walked on, and you know the story. But Navy's looking for the big upset. New coach this year, although they'll run the spread. They'll run that option, And they'll be, of course, an opponent of the Memphis Tigers early in the season, a Thursday night game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. They have a great fight song as well. You can argue they have the best fight song. The Navy Midshipmen, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish from Dublin, Ireland, where it all began, right? College football was created in Dublin many, many years ago over a pint of Guinness. No, not really. That would be golf. But anyway, it's the start of college football season. I'm fired up. I'm sure you are as well, right?
Middle-aged Tom Morris was a great quarterback. Old and young played golf, but middle-aged Tom Morris,
He could sling that rock, couldn't he?
That dude could. He had a
Could he?
cannon. Absolute cannon.
So as far as the realignment discussion is concerned, I don't want to dwell too much on it. We know the situation with the ACC, that it could happen. It's not a given. It's not an automatic, but it looks as though maybe they'll get the votes to get Cal in, Stanford in, and SMU. But in the meantime, there was a story yesterday that the commissioner of the Mountain West has met with Washington State and Oregon State, and also Mike Oresco has had discussions with Washington State and Oregon State. So both of those conferences would love the addition of two schools that played in a power conference. Again, the future of the Pac-12 is done. There's no way to save it. It's what happens to these two schools and where they end up going, or do we see some sort of combination for the future, and I'm talking about the near future, of all three, Mountain West, American, and those two remaining Pac-12 schools. And I say two remaining because, again, I think that the ACC will vote in Stanford and Cal, but again, it's not 100% given. It's not automatic, but it looks like the minds are changing. The mind of Florida State, apparently, and Clemson's not changing, but what do they need, 15 votes?
They need 12 out of 15.
12 out of 15. And again, Notre Dame has a vote, and Notre Dame has been pro bringing in those two schools.
There's 4 schools. They got to flip one of them. Out of Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina State. As long as nobody, this is according to the reports, there was no official vote taken the first time, but according to the reports, those were the 4 opposed, so as long as nobody else has changed their mind that was previously a yes, which I don't know why they would have been previously a yes and now a no, but as long as nobody else has flipped the other way, they need to flip one of those 4.
Right, but maybe they didn't have all the information and all the details about financially how it will benefit the schools. And we had the stories yesterday of how much more money that they can bring in through their media rights package by adding 3 schools. I don't know why 3 as opposed to 4 and an odd number, but nevertheless, we should probably get some sort of conclusion to this. It may not be today or this weekend, but I would think by next week. There's no time limit, I don't believe, but you need to know a little bit. For those schools out in the Pac-12 that remain, the 4, they want to know about their future here sooner than later.
See, the ACC can be an odd number because of the Notre Dame situation.
That's true. That's right.
Because you have the scheduling agreement with Notre Dame. So for obviously the other sports, it creates an even number. But even in football, for scheduling purposes, you've got Notre Dame in the mix, so you could still do a schedule that that works, even if you have an odd number of actual teams in your league, because you got Notre Dame playing the 5 games every year against a team in the ACC.
Speaking of realignment, op-ed written by Dr. Bill Hardgrave, the president of the University of Memphis. It was in the CA Today. He was a guest columnist writing about the future of the University of Memphis. And I can tell you this, Bill Hardgrave is a good writer. It was well done. Let's just put it that way. Well done. He brings Elvis Presley into this thing. But his point is that they can't do it alone. The community has to be involved. It's an extremely important year. It's an extremely important month with the start of the football season to get the fans at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. He talked about the situation with the refurbishment of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and how they're still in a waiting pattern with the Grizzlies. He doesn't mention the Grizzlies by name, but talks about that as far as what the plans are and what the future is, and as they await the final okay, the $200 million appropriation. Is it going to be $200 million? What's going to happen? But certainly it's an interesting situation because of the administration that is out in, November? So the changing of the administration, Mayor Strickland will be out. There'll be a new mayor in. Will everything be rectified, documents signed, and ready to move on everything by the time his administration leaves? If not, that could be kind of a touchy situation. But Dr. Hargrave talked about the past and the first go-around of realignment, and we've had realignment off and on for a lot of years. A lot of different times there's been realignment. But in that last run that brought those American Conference schools to the Big 12, that, basically in a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing, saying that really they weren't ready for it. There were things that they needed to improve upon, which they did, including becoming a Carnegie R1 research institution, improvements to facilities, improvements on the field, on the court, and things of that nature. So check it out. A nice op-ed written by President Bill Hargrave of the University of Memphis about the future. But again, one of those deals where we're not in this alone. We're in this together. And let's see what happens down the road with the University of Memphis. In the meantime, the FIBA World Cup is underway. Australia winning their opener. And the United States will be in action tomorrow as they will take on New Zealand. So Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., major cog of that team, especially on the defensive end, will be a part of that. You have Santi Aldama, who will be performing for Spain. You have Lester Quinones, the former Memphis Tiger, who will be playing for the Dominican Republic, and they are playing in a game today. Of course, the former Grizzly Dylan Brooks playing for Canada. Overall, there are 55 NBA players set to compete. 55. 24 different teams are represented at the FIBA World Cup. Pretty impressive.
It's become a world game. Lots of guys from around the world that are in the NBA now, and certainly is what's made it a lot more difficult on the U.S. But again, I don't care what U.S. team is there. The bottom line is we've got all NBA guys on our team, so we should be the dominant force.
So no excuses in your book, right? Memphis. The United States has the best players, the best collection of players. I mean, you look at Greece and go Giannis, but Giannis isn't playing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's a huge loss. But Doncic is playing for his country, so they may not necessarily have the best, but they have the best collection of players. So if they didn't win the championship, it would be a huge disappointment. Anytime the United States does not win an international competition, it is a disappointment. But it has happened more in the last 20 years than in past history, although we've had our situations, obviously in 72, was it, when we got robbed by the officials in that deal against Russia, or the USSR back then. And then there's been other times where they have had some failures. Of course, you had the greatness of the Dream Team, and then you had the importance of the Redeem Team. But the United States overall should win. It's not like there aren't other countries that are really, really good. Spain has proven it over the years. There are others. Of course, France is always capable of doing something in these type of an event. And then other countries that have gotten better and better over the years. Look, the world has gotten better in all sports. We have seen that. The United States women's soccer team just went through that at the World Cup. But again, I would think that even with this collection of players, which is a good collection of players, it's good enough to win it all, and they should win it all. But I think it's a bigger disappointment. It's a disaster, in fact, if you don't win in the Olympics, because you are sending the best of the best. More than likely, there could be players that opt not to play or injuries. But the team you see now is not necessarily going to be the team you see next year. There'll be some players that will be on that team, but it's not like they're just going to turn around and run it back. The big names of the NBA who want to play in the Olympics, they have their spot if they want to play.
Yeah, same thing here. Same thing with some of the other countries. For instance, Giannis, Jamal Murray, guys like that will probably be playing in the Olympics. They're not playing in this.
Do you think John Morant will ever play for the United States?
Yes.
You do? I don't know if he will. I don't know. I guess it'll all depend on the competition. And I'm not saying because of lack of talent. That's not the reason. But you get in a groove over several years of playing in these World Cup events, these FIBA World Cup events and all that, and you start to fall in love with certain players at certain positions. You never know, like, if you will break through. I mean, Ja is a great player, but we're not talking about when Jordan played and, his ticket to the Olympic team was automatically stamped, or Magic or Bird or LeBron James if he wants it again. I mean, these guys are automatic. So it all depends. It's a numbers game as well. You get some great, great players that are left off the team.
I believe Ja will play. I believe Ja will win an Olympic gold medal.
Do you think Jaren Jackson Jr. will win an Olympic gold medal?
I think he has a very good chance. I think his skill set, I think there's a very good chance that he will be on an Olympic team. Or multiple Olympic teams. So you believe there is a good chance, I'm assuming now, that you believe there's a good chance that we will see Ja and Jaren play together on the U.S. Olympic team? Mm-hmm.
As early as next year's?
I think there's a chance that Jaren would be on next year's. I don't know about Ja, but I think there's a good chance that Jaren is on next year's Olympic team after playing, being on this team, doing what he has done. When you start looking around at the big men and things around the NBA, and especially with the skill set that they would like, I think Jaren fits very well. So I think Jaren's got a great chance to be on next year's. And if Ja's not on next year's, I think Ja would be on the 2028 team for sure.
I agree with you with Jaren Jackson Jr. His skill set, he's a freak. There's not many like that, and they need guys who are defensive oriented. They need guys that do the dirty work, and that's what he'll be doing in these FIBA games.
And in general, Team USA doesn't have a whole lot of bigs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the point.
There's not many options.
Yeah,
there's not, and especially one that can step out, knock down a shot, who has the athletic ability plus the defensive ability. Jaren fits very well into what you would want at a guy at that position.
Do you see Des Bain ever being on a? No.
FIBA, sure. Yeah, I can see him. In the FIBA
like
setting.
the World Cup, yeah. I mean, I'm saying not Olympics.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, he took a huge step last year, and if he takes that next step too, where he becomes, you look at Des Bain, you go, he's one of the top 3 or 4 shooters in the league. All of a sudden, you start to, because Curry's up there and they're not around. They're not going to be around forever. But no, I seem to agree with you. I'm still a little questionable again about Ja if we'll ever see that. But hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll see a couple of those Grizzlies. All right, one other topic before we take our first break, and John Varlas will join us on the other side. The Tour Championship underway from East Lake in Atlanta. Did you watch any of that yesterday?
I did.
Did the crowd seem small to you?
I did. I'll be honest, I did not pay attention to the crowd.
I just didn't see much of. Now, again, I didn't watch the whole day. I could be completely wrong. It looked like last week, the BMW, the crowds were huge, but I'm sure the weather was nicer. I'm sure it was hot, but nicer in the Chicago area than it was in Memphis the prior week. I thought Memphis had record crowds. I don't know that for sure. It felt that way. It looked like, just from watching it on television, that it wasn't huge crowds in Atlanta. Again, I could be wrong. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be fun because the guys at the top, and of course it's weighted where Scotty Scheffler starts out at 10 under par and he's in the lead. Well, Scheffler didn't have a big round. Rahm didn't have a big round. Rory had some back problems, didn't have a big round. And then all of a sudden you see guys like Colin Morikawa shoot a 61, Adam Schenk and Keegan Bradley shoot 63s. So going into round 2 today, Morikawa, Victor Hovland, last week's winner in Chicago, and Keegan Bradley at 10 under. Scotty Scheffler then at 9 under. Schenk and Russell Henley at 8 under. And then Rahm, McIlroy, and Matthew Fitzpatrick at 7 under. That's exactly what you want as a fan who wants to see competition, is to see kind of the top of the leaderboard come back a little bit and the other guys catch up. I think it's going to be a great shootout over the next 3 days.
Yeah, it looked early like Scheffler was going to open up a big lead, had a 5-stroke lead after he birdied 3 of his first 6, but then he really struggled, made a triple bogey on the backside after making 3 bogeys in 4 holes, or 3 bogeys in 5 holes. It's just weird to see Scheffler because he's so consistent. For him to shoot one over is like, what just happened? I don't know what just happened, but I'm sure he'll get it figured out. But Colin Morikawa, it's a pretty good audition for the Ryder Cup selections.
That's right.
To go out and shoot a 61 like that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like going in, it's Scheffler or Rahm or Rory. They have been the top three all year long, although other golfers have had great moments as well, including Victor Hovland last week. But I'm thinking, the Tour Championship will be won by one of those three. I don't know right now. I think this is going to be fun to see. A guy like Keegan Bradley very quietly having a great year. It will be very interesting to see what happens at East Lake. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens in a couple of weeks when the NFL season kicks off. This weekend, it's all about the final week of the final preseason games. And you can snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action because you have everything coming up. The U.S. Open, if you want to bet on tennis, the start of the football season, NFL, college, and before too long, the NBA and college basketball will roll right along. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads and player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Gasman. Use Gasman as your promo code and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call TN Redline at 1-800-889-9789. We're talking prep football when we return. You got any questions for John Varlas, hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines by texting it at 901-360-8255. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis football is back Saturday, September 2nd versus Bethune-Cookman at 6 o'clock. We need Memphis at our 901 game home opener as we celebrate our city and welcome the excitement of college football back to the 901. See the new Tiger Tailgate, a new team run out, the Bill Street Flippers, and more. Tickets start at just $20 to witness the 901's football team in action. Be there Saturday, September 2nd. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
I have got an idea for a movie tie-in for Central Barbecue.
I don't like where this is going.
The Central Barbecue Oppenheimer Special. It's an explosion of flavor.
No.
So, Central Barbecue's ribs are the bomb?
No. Plus, Central Barbecue doesn't need that kind of promotion. Central Barbecue's food is the promotion.
Central Barbecue's hot sauce is
I'm telling you, Central Barbecue has always sold itself because you can't get better barbecue anywhere.
So, it's the Oppenheimer thing. All right, well, how about you can't spell barbecue without Barbie?
But you can.
Make this the summer sales event is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get ready to ride in your new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $29,990 or $425 a month. Got some hauling to do? We Gossett covered in 2023 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x4, $39,990 or $579 a month. Or how about some employee pricing from Gossett on all Jeep Gladiators? 2023 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-door 4x4 now just $669 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 3500 down, Charger PH 508-657, MSRP 35930, Ram PN 671-333, MSRP 48390, Jeep PL 561602, MSRP 54655. Must finance through Chrysler Capital, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, no accidents or delays to report. No accidents or delays. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:30 the time. It is Friday. You know what that means. Time to talk some prep football with John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's also the busiest man in show business this time of the year. He's John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. Hi, JV. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Happy day after National Burger Day.
Yes.
Did you enjoy National Burger Day?
I did not partake this year. Maybe I'll make up for it over the holidays, maybe.
I think today's National Run on the Treadmill Day after you eat all the burgers from yesterday.
Maybe so. It's good
John
day.
comes in wearing a hoodie, so like he's ready to go. It's only 1,000 degrees outside.
It's a fashion statement.
No,
my
I'm
friend.
going to go out as soon as I leave here. I was telling Eli, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to mix up the workout a little bit today, and I'm headed to Shelby Farms, and I'm going to do a lap or maybe two if I feel inspired around the lake there. That's a couple of miles.
Yes, it is.
And I'm gonna get a good sweat going, and then go home and take a shower, take a nap, and get ready for tonight's action. That's the game plan.
You may have to jump in the lake.
Yeah, just jump in the lake. To dry off. You jump in the lake to dry off.
That's the game plan for
Good
today.
for you. I walk around that lake every once in a while. Walk.
Yeah.
Emphasis on walk. I don't run that thing. All right, so
I've looked at that lake a couple times.
It's a
coastal.
It's a big.
Yes, while eating at coastal, he's looked at the lake.
It's a big lake.
It is a big lake. That's why I would never run around it.
Okay, so I was under the assumption, I swear I read this headline that there was going to be some games that were postponed, but there were not any games postponed last night. There were games that were delayed to start because of the heat, humidity, and of course the heat index, the most important thing. And that may be the situation again tonight. I know there are some games already scheduled to be pushed back. What is the hard and fast rule about whether or not a game can be played weather-wise?
Well, it's the rule on outdoor activities per the TSSAA is you're not allowed to practice outdoors if the heat index is above 104 degrees. However, you are allowed to play a game if the heat index is above 104 degrees and you have sufficient medical personnel and ice tubs and cooling apparatuses and all that stuff available to the players, and you take water breaks and whatnot, and that's what everybody's going to do tonight. I know. For example, I went to a soccer game Tuesday night, and they just, the girls played Houston and St. Agnes, and they just took frequent water breaks. They took 2 water breaks per half, and they played the match, and nobody was the worse for wear. So I think that's what everybody's going to do tonight. All the kickoffs here locally have been pushed back to 7:30 from the normal 7 o'clock, with the exception of the M&M Bowl in Millington. That's been pushed back to 8 o'clock, and also the Cordova game at St. Benedict is pushed back to 8 o'clock, but everything else is 7:30. And last night seemed to go off without any hitches, and I don't expect any issues tonight either.
Whereas I thought it was that you literally couldn't do anything if it was 105 or above.
They've revised that. I was under that impression as well too, but they've revised that. So for example, Houston and Germantown are going down to play a game. They're going down to play in Senatobia today. Houston is playing South Panola, and that game's actually scheduled at 4:30. And I talked to the coaches I talked to the head coach at Houston, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to play, but they're going to have misters on the sidelines. They're going to have ice tubs. They're going to have sufficient medical personnel, and both schools have deemed it's Well,
does that matter because it's in Mississippi?
Well, but it's the same general principle. I mean, they have a heat index rule in Mississippi as well, so they're just taking all the necessary precautions, and I think it's going to be fine, honestly.
Mike Kelly over at Christian Brothers was telling me there's the heat index, but there's also another measurement that you can, they have, there are two different devices, basically. He was telling me they have another one that takes the wind into effect. So if there's a breeze, that it keeps, there's a temperature.
We have a breeze in Memphis?
There's that one. So you can, either way, it could be over 105, but if this thing is reading a temperature low enough, and I can't remember what he told me that temperature is on that device, you could still play even if the heat index is 105, because the heat index obviously isn't taking the breeze into it. I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff to try and figure out. Just tell me when we're starting the game.
Yeah, and the answer to that is for 90% of the game, 7:30. So so if you be there at 7:30, you'll be there. You'll be in good shape.
For.
Just one more question about the weather. You mentioned that during practice, if it's 104 or more heat index, you can't practice.
Yeah.
So this week, we had that like the whole week.
You practice inside.
So they just moved everything inside.
Yeah, or they practice at night.
Or you practice
like
at night.
Christian Brothers have been practicing at, I think, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, you practice at night. Maybe you even practice before school if you can, or you practice inside. There's certainly options to practice. And here again, here's kind of where the logic kind of fries me a little bit and frustrates me.
No pun intended.
So you're not allowed to practice outdoors if the heat index is 104, but you take some of these kids, a lot of these schools, send them into basketball gym, for example, where it's probably even hotter than 104. So I mean, the logic kind of gets messed up, I think,
in a
lot of these cases. I mean, do they in a lot of these gyms? No, they don't. A lot of these older city schools, I don't think they do have air conditioning. So it gets it gets confusing, but everybody's going to make it work, and thankfully it'll all be over with after Saturday.
Somebody texted in asking about the Christian Brothers kickoff. It is scheduled for 7:30, like the others. They have pushed it back. It is scheduled for 7:30 again. Hopefully everything will be good. Although last night I was watching. I don't know, one of the news stations. I don't remember what. I just happened to be watching when they first came on and they did their little weather thing. This was 10 o'clock news. They said the heat index at that point was 104. Still at 10 o'clock.
That's why I said.
I was like, my goodness gracious.
Right. That's why I was questioning even night practices and things of that nature, because I thought the heat index was that bad in the evening as well.
Well, I mean, just between me and you and the wall here, I'm questioning whether the heat index was actually 104 degrees at 10 o'clock. I find that hard to believe.
It blew me away when he said, I was like, 104 right now? Like, there's no way it's 104 right now. But I was like, I don't know. Like, I certainly am not a meteorologist, but I was like, I find that hard to believe that at 10 o'clock at night it's still 104.
You kids hydrate out there, all right?
Yeah.
And you adults hydrate as well.
In the immortal words of Houston soccer coach David Wolf, hydrate, get some water, and get back in there.
Get back in there.
That's all you do.
Hey, if Mike Kelly's listening, go turn the air conditioner on in the press box right now. And you can get that thing cooled down by 7 o'clock tonight.
Beads of sweat are falling off of Eli's bald head. All right, so last week, opening week of the season, what stood out? Couple of games, couple of performances that stood out before we talk about this week.
Well, I think what stood out, and not necessarily the result, is because you're never surprised when MUS beats anybody. That's just who they are. But the margin of victory against Bartlett, 37-0. A Bartlett team that was ranked. They were number 2 in my preseason poll, and I think everybody had high expectations of Bartlett, and I think it's still fair to do that. But the way that MUS just controlled that game and really thwarted anything that Bartlett wanted to do offensively, they intercepted 4 passes, they forced 2 fumbles, they got another turnover on downs, so 7 turnovers altogether. They scored all 37 points in the first half, and just basically the game was over at halftime. 2 interceptions for touchdowns. Brandon Nicholson and Mekhi Shaw. I mean, they just really confused Bartlett thoroughly and had their way with them defensively, and I think it was just a super impressive performance for MUS, and another thing with MUS too, I don't think you can discount the emotion that they're going to be playing with this year, all year too, because of what happened over the summer with the death of Deion Stutz. I don't know how much you can say that's going to factor into their season this year, but I certainly think it's going to play a part for those kids, because I know they, that affected those kids and those coaches, pretty profoundly. And I think they're going to, somehow use that turn that into a positive and turn that into a motivator. So yeah, the result of that game was really a standout performance, I think, and I'm really excited to go to MUS tonight and see what they're going to do against Melrose, an entirely different challenge this week, because Melrose is essentially a track team, wearing shoulder pads. I mean, they've got dudes, Joe Williams and Ryan Brown and William Carver. I mean, those guys are so fast and so athletic and can do so many things when they get the ball in space. It's going to be a different challenge and a fun challenge.
We've always said it. High school football in Memphis is just better when Melrose is good.
And Melrose is good.
It's great when Melrose. Another team that has had some really good years and then unfortunately has had some lean years recently. I think they opened up with a convincing win. I'm trying to go by memory on this. I was on vacation, but is Cordova. Could Cordova be back and be competitive again?
Well, I mean, Cordova's an interesting team. They've got a chance to go 2-0 tonight. With a game at St. Benedict. Yeah, they did win last week. They beat Sheffield last week, 27-14, 28-14, something like that. So, yeah, John Doughton, who's I kind of jokingly refer to him as the new old coach.
Right.
He was there years and years ago, and now he's back. And, I didn't
know that.
Cordova is so much so much potential with that Cordova program. Like you said, Greg, just a few years ago when Anthony Jones was there, you recall they met Whitehaven in the state semifinals for a chance to go to the state championship game. And it was just a fantastic program with, a ton of college talent. Jeremy Banks and Quentin Bohannon and those guys.
Players.
Yeah. So it would be nice to see Cordova start making some inroads back, and I think they're slowly starting to do that.
We talked last week, obviously, about all those 6A teams. Now we know what happened to Bartlett, but the other 3 in Germantown, Collierville, Houston, all took care of business last week.
They all sealed the deal. Germantown played Raleigh, Egypt, and that game was over in the first quarter because it was 42-0 after the first quarter. Check this out, guys. Germantown ran 13 plays for the entire game, and they scored on 8 of them.
Holy moly.
The quarterback, Cordero Walker, the new transfer quarterback, was 5 of 5 for 185 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I think Jamarian Morrow, the great future Power 5 player in the class of 2025, I think he scored a touchdown the first time he touched the ball. It was just a really dominant performance. I mean, it's going to be a lot tougher for Germantown this week against DeSoto Central, but super impressive for Germantown. Houston was tremendously impressive. They beat Briarcrest handily. They rolled up over 500 yards of total offense. I mean, Chandler Day was outstanding at quarterback. Damon Sissa, Sully Davis, the transfer running back, he gave them exactly what they were expecting, supporting the running game. And Houston looked really, really good as well. And then Collierville, super impressive against Decatur Riverside. Aiden Glover had a tremendous game, and Joakim Dotson, the son of Damian Dotson, I think it was his best game in a Collierville uniform. He had 6 catches, 142 yards and a touchdown, and he looked really, really good too. So yeah, all 3 of those teams super impressive last week.
6A rather off and rolling as it usually is. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more John Varlas on prep football. You got a question, hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines by texting in at 901-360-8255, the annual M&M Bowl. We got that going on tonight. A lot of other good matchups in those games down in Senatobia, which is very interesting. We'll get to all that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So you've decided to get yourself some culture and go to the Orpheum to see a Broadway show. Well, why stop there? Thanks to a partnership with the Orpheum, 117 Prime, Memphis' premier downtown dining destination, is offering the Orpheum pre-show menu. 3 courses just right before enjoying a Broadway show. Choose from a Caesar salad or French onion soup to start, a 7-ounce flank steak or pan-seared salmon for your entree, and top it off with carrot cake for dessert. If you're an Orpheum Perks member, you can get a special price. All this culture and great food thanks to the Orpheum at 117 Prime.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501,5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560,3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them unique? Landscape Stone Center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover. Plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Talking prep football with John Varlas, who joins us every Friday from the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. The annual M&M Bowl will be in Millington, Munford and Millington. Munford, really impressive win over Covington in the opener. Millington won their game. So what do you expect tonight?
Munford is going to be really, really good, and they've kind of owned the M&M Bowl here the last several years, and I think if I had to predict, I think they get the victory again tonight. Jordan Bell at quarterback had a really good game last week against Covington. Did exactly what you'd expect from your senior quarterback. He ran that offense well, made the throws, got out there with his legs and made plays too. One interesting thing for Munford too is the addition of Collier at wide receiver. So they already had Isaiah Cobbs at wide receiver, and Cobbs is committed to Washington State. So that kind of shows you the level of ability that he has. But Collier transferred in from Briarcrest this year to kind of come in on the other side. And last week he had 114 yards on only 2 catches, and he also had a really solid game in the secondary as well. So the addition of Collier, the addition of Ty Starks at running back, I think Munford is going to be really, really good, just like they were last year. 5A is going to be super competitive this year on a statewide level, but here locally, 5A, Munford and Southwind, I think those two teams are on a collision course, and I think obviously they'll both make the playoffs, I think, but they're both really, really good.
By the way, a wonderful decommit now from Washington State with the turmoil there.
Well, I don't know. Because typically you commit to a school and not a conference necessarily, right?
Well, if you're all of a sudden a power conference and now you're not a power conference.
Well, but it's still Washington State, though. Nothing's changed with Washington State.
If they go to the Mountain West, that changes a lot.
Well, it's not changed their facilities or anything like that. And there's another Munford kid out at Washington State already too. So I don't know. I've never spoken to Cobbs about it, but I just.
It's not crazy.
And of course, anything's possible. Kids commit and decommit all the time. But my point is, you don't commit to a conference, though. You commit to the school and the facilities and the coaches.
You don't think some kids commit to the SEC?
No, I don't. I don't think they do. I think they commit to Alabama or Tennessee or LSU or wherever they commit to.
I'm talking about if there's a chance to go to one of the lesser schools in the SEC or one of the middle of the pack or a little bit better schools in the ACC Big 12. I don't think it's out of the question.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think they commit to coaches.
We'll agree to disagree.
Coaches and facilities, I think, is what they commit to.
Somebody had texted in asking about Overton. Who do they play?
Yeah, well, Overton actually played last night, and they picked up their first win of the year, 28-14 over Ridgeway. In fact, the aforementioned Ridgeway Roadrunners, and actually. Overton last week, there was a kind of a scary situation in the game against Arlington. One of their players was he was carted off the field on one of those backboard things and x-rays and all that. But I emailed with one of the assistant coaches this morning to check on him, and he said, thankfully everything is okay there. Good. He wanted to send out the Overton appreciation. The staff at Overton really appreciates everyone at Arlington, their coaches and the support staff and everyone who helped with that situation. But all is well, and Overton celebrated a victory last night, so they're 1-1, and they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot too in that 5A region with Munford and Southwind and Central and Brighton and those guys.
You mentioned earlier the games that'll be played in Senatobia.
Yeah.
At Northwest Mississippi Community College. I love the fact that that's happening. Maybe not playing at 4:30 for those folks, but what do you expect out of those two games?
Well, South Panola is not necessarily where it was in the glory days. 10, 15 years ago when they won like 80-something straight home games or some ungodly number, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're still a very representative team, very good, lots of good athletes down there. I'm super high on this Houston team, though, especially that offense. They just can do so many things now, and the addition of Sally Davis transferring in from Lausanne, that just gives them such another dimension, adding to what they already had, which was already pretty darn good. So I'm super high on Houston. I'm still super high on Germantown as well. Nothing I saw from Germantown last week makes me think they're not the top team in our area, and I expect them to beat DeSoto Central. And it's interesting too, because next week region play starts up, and guess who's going to visit Houston for the region opener? Your Germantown Red Devils.
Wow.
So if both of those teams take care of business tonight, it could be a 1-2 Daily Memphis and Dandy Dozen
Something
showdown.
tells me I know where you're going to be next week.
I will be. Thankfully, Houston is very near to home base, so games at Houston
home game for you.
It's always basically a home game. Well, it's weird too where I live. Germantown is just another minute or two going in the other direction. So I really can't lose. But no, the parking situation is a little bit easier at Houston, selfishly.
Parking at Germantown is a nightmare.
So I'll take that one. But no, that's for next week. But no, potentially that's going to be a fun game next week. But we got a lot of fun games to worry about this week too.
Somebody texted, we talked about it a little bit earlier because you'll be there, but Melrose and MUS again tonight.
Yeah, what Coach Bobo is doing over there at Melrose and kind of revitalizing that Melrose tradition and that pride in that community is like Greg said, when Melrose football is good, they're kind of one of the brands that brings in the casual non-high school fan, and everybody's like, "Oh, Melrose, I remember Melrose." So they're really building something special under Coach Bobo. And like I said earlier, they've got just a bevy of really, really good, fast, talented playmaker athletes, and it's going to be fun to see how MUS schemes up against those guys and tries to defend those guys. It's a totally different challenge from what Bartlett brought to the table, and obviously MUS is always one of the best coached and best disciplined groups out there. So, it's going to be fun to see how this shakes out. It's really going to be an interesting test, I think. And those old-fashioned public-private matchups are always fun.
They are.
They bring, all different aspects of the community together. It's fun. It's going to be a fun night.
ECS at Olive Branch tonight's interesting. Can Bartlett bounce back? They're at home. They're playing Lausanne.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm no lower on Bartlett this week than I was last week, and you look at it too, Greg. Bartlett learned a ton about themselves, in defeat. That's a defeat that can really benefit them going forward. Not to take anything away from what Germantown did, but I think Bartlett probably learned a little bit more about exactly who they are than Germantown did against, Raleigh, Egypt, for example, or some of these other teams that had, a little bit easier openers. I'm totally confident in Bartlett. They've got the potential to be extremely good on defense. But having said that, Lausanne also has, Lausanne's front seven was terrific last week against Mace, and their sophomore quarterback, TJ Jenkins, he looked really poised in his first varsity start. CJ Jordan was making plays at receiver. So, this Lausanne team is going to be good just like it always is. And fun fact, yesterday was the 10th anniversary of the first football game in Lausanne history. So
that is a fun fact.
Yeah, so, just think about the history. They
National Burger Day and the anniversary.
Ken Netherland?
Ken Netherland did coach that first year, but
right.
Lo Castro essentially did all the coaching even that year. But no, 10 years. I think they posted something that they've only lost. I may get this wrong, but I think they've only lost 22 games in those 10 years. They've got the longest winning streak in the history of Shelby County, 38 straight games, 2 state championships, Eric Gray, 3 Mr. Footballs. I mean,
they made an impact
just
real
in
quickly,
a short time.
Yes.
They have really made and so hats off to everybody at Lausanne. But no, great game at Bartlett tonight, 7:30 for that one as well. And again, ample parking at Bartlett as well.
There you go.
That's a good thing.
That's very important.
That's a good thing,
they
too.
should have shuttles at Germantown from somewhere to shuttle you
and
in.
that's definitely and on the opposite side, if it was at Lausanne, not ample parking.
That's true. Another one where they should have some shuttles.
I mean, when they built Lausanne, they just never anticipated having a successful football program. They just never did.
And even though it feels like there's 10 John Varlases, there's only one. So I'm sure you wouldn't mind some folks helping you out there as far as social media is concerned.
Please send coaches and statisticians. Please send in your scores, your highlights, your top performers. It can be something as basic as Greg Gaston ran for 100 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's all I need, and that's very helpful. So anything you can provide, we appreciate it. I don't know if Greg Gaston would run for 100 yards.
Back in the day, he would.
He would.
He would.
What was your?
I was
high
a
school
running
again?
back.
Holy
Spirit High School.
Holy Spirit High School in New Jersey. Was that 7-man football?
That was real football, baby.
It's
not that 7
real
man
football,
stuff.
baby.
That's not that 7-man stuff. No. He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian, their award-winning prep reporter, but so much more. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. Obviously, follow him throughout the high school football season. Not only high school football, but he covers all prep sports. He'll keep you updated. So follow him on social media and read his stuff at the Daily Memphian. Thank you, John.
Oh man, this goes by way too short, doesn't it?
It's quick.
Tell Barnhart to take a seat. I got more. I got more things to talk about. I'm just kidding.
Mr. High School football followed by Mr. College football.
That is right. That is exactly right. All right, man. Thank you, John.
Okay, appreciate it, guys.
We'll take a time out. It will be Mr. College football. Tony Barnhart to open up hour number 2. He's on the other side. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we've brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store, with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place, at prices you never thought possible. What's the Genesis secret? Our owner was born and raised in the diamond industry in Tel Aviv. After selling wholesale to high-end jewelry retailers for years, he hated the insane markups they were getting away with. So he stopped selling to the stores and started selling direct to the public. That philosophy is still a core part of Genesis DNA, as we continue to sell the highest quality diamonds at true no-middleman direct importer prices. With international connections and massive buying power, Genesis has what it takes to beat anyone else's price every day on every diamond. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar & Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey everybody, a little summer drive adventure is all yours in one of these hot new All-Star Chevys. And Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are. Silverados for sure. And they have financing down as low as 1.9 on most of the new Silverados, and your good credit deserves it. It really does. Trail Boss, High Country, and you can see Kevin or Jeff to order any custom Silverado or any new Chevy you want. Drive one of these Tahoes or Equinoxes. That'll be a sweet last summer drive for any adventure. And if you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned vehicle, All-Star is loaded up. Silverados, Corvette Stingrays. If it's not here, just ask Jeff and he'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin told me to thank all of you who are bringing your cars and trucks here to sell. You could get a check today for some crazy good money. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Collierville. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Get up to an additional $1,500 off select major kitchen appliances. And save $100 off select laundry pairs, priced $1,396 or more. Plus, pick up the latest DeWalt PowerStack 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery kit and get a select Bear tool free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. While supplies last.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Working a couple of accidents. Accident on Kirby at Quince. That's Kirby at Quince. And then also accident on Union at Cox Street. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time, hour number 2 on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 83 degrees with humidity at 81%. Feels like 92 out there. Another scorcher over 100 degrees. We're looking at a high tonight, or a low tonight of 79. That's not really low, is it? Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies with a high near 101. There's an air quality alert that's out until tonight at 5:30, and an excessive heat warning that's out until tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. So this putrid weather will continue at least through tomorrow, hopefully a little reprieve next week. Second hour of the program brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers, and each Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know Eagles place kicker Jake Elliott, who bombed a 59-yarder yesterday in a preseason game. He's the former Memphis Tigers star kicker, has averaged 2.7 points per field goal attempt since the 2021 season. That's tied for 5th best of 36 qualified NFL kickers. That is darn good. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your family's jeweler. They're also your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters for that special engagement ring, wedding ring, personally designed wedding sets, watches of all types, plus custom-made jewelry, gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, pendants, and that estate and vintage jewelry, and they're always adding to their collection. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Layaway and financing is available. You need something appraised, bring it on over to James Gaddis Jewelers. They'll take care of you. They'll buy your diamonds, your gold, your silver. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. It is always a treat for us to kind of kick off the college football season and talking to Mr. College Football. He is Tony Barnhart, and he will be once again kicking off the speaker series of the Touchdown Club of Memphis. He will be in town on Monday for that event at the Hilton. He also has a new book that's coming out. He's a columnist for TMG College Sports, a radio contributor, a college football insider. He is Tony Barnhart, who joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. College Football. That's MRCFB. Tony, how are you?
Everything is good. I'm just, like Coach Spurrier used to say, that we've been in the middle of talking season too long. It's time for talking season to be over. It's time to play.
It has been the worst, hasn't it? Tony, with all that realignment talk, it's the worst talking season we've had. It's been nonstop.
Because we never talked about ball.
I know.
We just talked about where schools are going and where they're thinking about going and how much money they're going to get and all that. So, yeah, I'm kind of anxious to get the game started.
And the problem, it's still not done. That part of the talking season continues as we try and figure out what the ACC is going to do now.
Right, and Stanford to the ACC, Cal to the ACC. Oh my goodness, SMU to the ACC, really?
I know.
So that's going to be, but when you find out how much money's involved, all of the ACC's issues come down to money. Because Florida State and Clemson don't believe they get enough. So there will be, I think the number is about $75 million additional dollars would come in if they end up signing Stanford and Cal and SMU.
Well, you're down in the heart of really the SEC world, Southeastern Conference football. Do you think when it's all said and done, Florida State, Clemson, maybe two others will be in the SEC?
I don't think it's a slam dunk. I mean, people just assume that the SEC is going to go after these teams. The question is, how much value do they bring? I mean, if you're the SEC, you've already got the University of Florida, okay? You've already got the University of South Carolina. What, other than good football programs, and that's not what this is about. This is about how many eyeballs do you bring to television sets and how much money are you going to generate. For example, the SEC is not going to add a school like Florida State just to have another good team. Florida State will have to pay for itself. Clemson will have to pay for itself. If everybody in the conference is getting, say, $60 million a year, well, guess what? Those two teams have got to generate, at a minimum, another $120 million to pay for themselves, because nobody's going to take less money this year than they took last year just to invite these teams in to play. That's not what this is about.
On the field, as we get ready for the new season, are you of the mind, like most others, that Georgia is the best team in America, even with the new quarterback?
Yes, they have more. Their roster is deeper, more talented than anybody else's. Now, Alabama's very, very talented, although they've got some quarterback decisions to make. LSU is very, very talented. But Georgia is to me, the clear cut and above. And, you know, I'm down here. I see them all the time. But the Nationals, everybody in the national scene is picking Georgia to win. So it's and you. Oh, by the way, have you looked at their schedule?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. And you look at that schedule and go, well, is it logic? It's logic that Georgia can't win 3 in a row because nobody's done it since 1936. That's logical. Stuff happens. But you look at Georgia's schedule and you say, okay, who's going to beat them? And other than a couple of games, you know, they go to Knoxville on November 18th. That could be big. But Georgia's the most talented team, and they've got the best program.
Kirby, when he got the job at Georgia, obviously had the credentials from his time in Alabama and his past as a coach, as a coordinator. But did you expect him to do what he's done? I mean, he's basically taken the torch from Saban. You can certainly argue that he's the guy that Nick Saban was. Nick's, of course, still great, don't get me wrong. But did you expect Kirby Smart to have that immediate impact, to be the best coach and the best program right now in college football?
Well, he's done it. He's built it into the image of Nick Saban at Alabama, he's done it in a relatively short amount of time. And
Sure has.
that's the thing. I knew he was going to win a national championship at Georgia. I thought it was going to take him longer to build the program than it has. And now they have just been relentless in recruiting. I mean, when they won the national championship in 2021, there's no way they should come back in 2022 and win the national championship again. It's not logical. You lost 18 draft picks. You lost 5 first-round draft choices off of your defense. And you know what? They came back and went 15-0. That tells you everything you need to know about Kirby Smart's program.
You mentioned their trip to Knoxville. Tennessee obviously loses a lot of talent when you're talking about Hendon Hooker. You're talking about Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, although he was hurt for a lot of the year last year. Can that offense with Joe Milton be high-powered enough to be able to, we saw them last year pull off the win against Alabama. We saw these games. Can they do that with Joe Milton? Do you believe in him?
Well, he hasn't shown it to me yet. The key, Joe Milton has a lot of talent. People say, well, he can throw the ball 100 yards. And, well, that's great. I just haven't seen that many 100-yard passes in college football.
Some of those 50 yards into the stands a couple years
ago. What Joe
Milton's
got to do is prove that he can throw the 10-yard down and out and throw it, or he can throw it over the top of the defensive back into the arms of a receiver. He has to make all the different kinds of throws that Josh Heupel wants a quarterback to make in this offense. Hendon Hooker was magnificent doing that, okay? Now, I don't expect Joe to play at the level of Hendon Hooker, but can he make the throws that are necessary to run this offense the way that Josh Heupel wants it done? That is the unknown question at this point.
Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart joining us here on Sports 56 Mornings. He'll be in town Monday to kick off the speaker series at the Touchdown Club of Memphis. He has a new book that'll be coming out and available to you on October 15th. It's called The 19 of Green. We'll talk about that in a few moments. All right, Texas A&M, again, we go into the season going, all right, is this going to be the year Bobby Petrino takes over? Will we be given, first of all, carte blanche by Jimbo to run that offense, and do you think he'll make that much of a difference?
Well, I think it will make a difference. Bobby Petrino, whatever you may think of it otherwise, is a marvelous play caller and developer of quarterbacks, and it's clear from watching Texas A&M that's something that they need. Now, Jimbo Fisher has addressed the issue by bringing in Bobby Petrino, and you said it. Does he let him do his job? And how is that? I have said that I call it the grand experiment, and it will either be an unqualified success or an unmitigated disaster. One of those two things is going to happen.
Nothing in the middle.
Nothing in the middle. And so we will see. Now, because they've got talent. They are what, 2 years removed from a number one recruiting class, and they recruited at a very, very high level, as a la Alabama and a la Georgia. So we will see. They're going to have to get better quarterback play, and I tell you, here's a key moment on the Texas A&M schedule. Second full week of the season, they go to Miami. Just keep that game in mind. Mario Cristobal has done a very good job down there. That could be a tough game.
Yeah, they actually picked them to lose that game at Miami when we did our projections. Yep. LSU is the one of those teams kind of in the West at the top there that doesn't have the quarterback question. We know they've got a really good one. They win the division last year, but it almost seems like they're kind of being overlooked. They've got the huge game to start the season against Florida State. Do you like LSU again in the West, or are you more towards Alabama?
I picked Alabama. I just think Alabama's they are in what I would call a full-blown revenge mode after what happened to them last year. And I think everybody's focusing on the fact that they haven't named their quarterback, and they haven't. We understand that. But I promise you, I believe the University of Alabama will have a quarterback when they open the season. I'm sure they will find somebody to play that position. I think people are overstating the case. Now, LSU can absolutely win the West, but what it comes down to is Alabama's a deep, talented roster who will figure out what they can do at the quarterback position. And, oh, by the way, the LSU-Alabama game is in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
You can't overstate that.
How long do you think it'll take Hugh Freeze to get Auburn back to being a very competitive team?
I don't think it'll take long at all because he's going to figure out the quarterback position. And Hugh Freeze's pattern is that once he figures out the quarterback position, the rest of the team tends to fall into place. I don't know about this year because there was so much improvement that needs to be made. There's no question that Freeze went out and strengthened his roster through the portal and did a good job there. And but his starting quarterback is a guy who wasn't even on his roster in spring practice.
Right.
And that always sends up a red flag for me. But we'll see. They've got some good athletes, and Hugh Freeze has shown he can take a quarterback and mold him into. He does a great job of developing quarterback. Look at what he did at Liberty.
Yep.
Look at what he did at Ole Miss. So I think they'll be fine. I just don't see them finishing in the top half of the division this year.
Are you Team Ohio State or Team Michigan this year?
Ohio State. First of all, I don't trust Jim Harbaugh.
I don't know why I knew you were going to say that, Tony.
I just don't trust him in the big game. Now they've beaten Ohio State a couple of years. I understand that, but I've just got a feeling that with all the silliness going on around Michigan, and Jim Harbaugh is suspended, then he's not suspended, and he's I just think that's going to be a tremendous distraction. And Ohio State's got to find a new quarterback. I'll bet you they've got somebody on their roster who can play the position. So I think that I've got Ohio State in my Final Four for the national championship.
So who are the rest of your Final Four?
I've got Georgia and Alabama both going undefeated in the regular season. They meet in the SEC championship game. Georgia wins, Alabama loses. They both advance to the playoffs. And then Ohio State and Clemson. I think Clemson is a team that people are really overlooking. One of the best defensive lines in the country, if not the best defensive line in the country. Young quarterback named Cade Klubnik, who came in as a freshman last year, is going to have a big year. So that's my Final Four.
I am a believer in Texas being back this year. Do you believe that?
I believe they're going to win the Big 12 championship on their way out the door, and I think they'll do well. And their quarterback played really, really well against Alabama last year. Then he got hurt, Quinn Ewers, and there's some kid named Manning waiting in the wings.
I've heard that name before.
I hear he comes from a real nice family. So that will be interesting to watch. But I think Texas has got the roster and they've got the quarterback skills to win the Big 12.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the Heisman winner from last year is back for USC. Could they crash the Final Four party?
Oh, absolutely. How fitting in the last year of the Pac-12 that one of their guys should make it into the Final Four. That would be fascinating. It has been an amazing thing to watch. The implode, to watch an entire conference, 100-year history, Conference of Champions, literally implode in a matter of days. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's one of the most incredible things I've seen in not only collegiate sports, but really in sports in a long time. Tony Barnhart joining us, Mr. College Football. He will be here on Monday for the Touchdown Club of Memphis. And as you know, anybody who knows Tony knows that he is an author as well. And his latest entry is called The 19 of Green. It'll be released on October 15th. Tony, tell everybody about the book.
Well, in the fall of 1970, I was a senior in high school, senior at Greene County High School in Greensboro, Georgia. If you get on I-20 in Atlanta going to Augusta, when you're about halfway there is Greensboro, Georgia, and our high school. The courts ruled in 1970, the fall of 1970, that the schools of Greene County would integrate once and for all and completely, and they did. And we had a white high school and a black high school. White high school was Greene County High. The black high school was Floyd T. Carey High. We merged the schools, and those of us who played football, we thought this is going to be great. We're going to have 50 or 60 guys, and we're going to be awesome. Well, when spring practice was over for the fall of 1970, we had 19 guys, and hence the title, the 19 of Greene County. We put together a team. bonded. We had 19 guys, 12 white, 7 black. We won 7 out of our last 8 games and played for a region championship, and it was an incredible experience that sort of rallied the community behind it. But the story of the 19 of Green is not how many games we won, although we won a bunch of games. The story is that 52 years after we played our last game together, the quarterback on that team, Charles Turner, who came from the black school, first black friend I ever had, Charles and I are still best of friends 52 years after we played our last game together.
Wow.
And these guys we've all sort of stayed in touch. And Charles was inducted into the school's Ring of Honor last year, and 6 teammates, there are only 15 of us still alive, and 6 teammates showed up to watch him go into the Ring of Honor. And so that's what it's about. It's about enduring friendships and what it was like for those who are not on the old side like us, like me, what it was like back then, because it'll shock you guys. There are a lot of people who didn't think it was a very good idea for black kids and white kids to play football together.
Yeah, I can say like us, because I'm 62. Eli's getting up there as well, so certainly lived during that time of the segregation, and that is a great topic. I'm surprised, Tony, it's taken you this long. I mean, I know you've been busy, but my gosh, that is an unbelievable topic and material to write a book about.
Well, a couple of years ago, I ran across, my mother had given me a big envelope of photos that belonged to me, and she said, "I want this stuff out of my house. Put it in your house." I said, "Okay." And I was going through the photos, and there was a team picture that ran in the yearbook, and I just said, "Gee, I wonder what all these guys are doing now." And I called my teammate, Charles Turner, I just told you about. I called him. We had lunch, and I told him, I said, I think I can make this into a book. He said, "Let's go for it." And so Charles was a tremendous amount of help, helped me track down we interviewed all of the living guys in person. I did, and a bunch of faculty members, our coaches. We have 4 coaches who are still alive. I interviewed them, and it has been a wonderful journey, because when you get to this point in life, not a lot of people get to relive their life and go back and meet all their classmates and teammates again, like I was able to do, and it was a real thrill to do it.
That is fantastic. Again, the book is called The 19 of Green. It will be released on October 15th. So how can folks, they got to wait to October 15th, can they pre-order?
You can pre-order. You can go on to Amazon.com and just type in The 19 of Green, and you'll get a sheet that will allow you to pre-order. Now, I think, if I'm correct, you can pre-order at a 30% discount if you're so inclined. And, you can do that. And the University of Georgia Press is publishing the book. First time I've worked with an academic publishing house. It was quite an experience. They did a tremendous job of sort of keeping me out of the ditch when I was trying to do this thing. And this is my 6th book, and I'm far more excited about this one than any one I've ever done.
I'm looking forward to reading it. And, of course, Tony will be here Monday. And do yourself a favor, especially for all you college football fans out there. You want to kick off the season right, listen to Tony at the Touchdown Club of Memphis. He's their annual guest to kick things off and get that college football season rolling. Tony, as always, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great trip to Memphis. And we'll talk to you down the road during the season if it's okay with you.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Tony. Tony Barnhart from the TMG College Sports, where he's a columnist. Of course, he was a columnist for a number of different publications. He also contributes to different radio stations, including one in Nashville, College Football Insider, and author.
Folks, if you've got a move coming up, whether you're moving across town, across country, whether it's your home, your business, whatever you're moving, make sure you get the proper people, the professionals, to help you. And the ones to call are Black Tie Moving. 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk with the folks at Black Tie, and they're going to work with you, coming up with a plan for you, fitting your needs and fitting your budget as well. You get a no obligation quote up front, so you know exactly what it's going to be. You also, during the moving process, Get a moving concierge available 24/7 to you to answer any questions that you have. But you can have the confidence to know that your stuff is getting where it's going without any issues, and you can focus on other things. There's a lot to try and take care of when you're moving, and the folks at Black Tie Moving are going to try and take as much off of your back as they can to make sure you can make it a very smooth and worry-free process. So again, give Black Tie Moving a call, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
We are talking soccer next with Lawrence Dockery. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. For a limited time, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And the savings don't stop there. Save on select 3-quart mums. Right now, just 2 for $12. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Mums offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last. More terms and exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
With Labor Day and football season right around the corner, now's a perfect time to head on down to Memphis Barbecue Supply for all your cookout needs. Whether you need fuel, equipment, or seasoning, we have it all and more in store. We boast the largest selection of fuel and wood in the Mid-South. You'll be covered on all your kindling needs, from pellets to logs to chunk and chip, and of course, briquette and lump charcoals. We have many different varieties available to choose from. Speaking of variety, we encourage you to browse our selection of over 300 different rubs and sauces. Our knowledgeable staff is always available to assist with any questions you may have for your next cook. So stop on by and let's get you set up right for this barbecue season at Memphis Barbecue Supply. Memphis Barbecue Supply is located at 7041 Stage Road in Memphis, or you can order online at mbbq.com. Follow us on all the social media platforms for recipes, new products, and barbecue news.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501 5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560 3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9523. Dealer stock only. Warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
2023 Nero EV Win, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe. Only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Still working an accident on Kirby at Quince. Still working with that accident from early at the top of the hour. Couple new accidents or a couple incidents on the roadways. Lamar West at Winchester. That's Lamar West at Winchester. And then we're working a house fire on Ford at Levi. That's Ford at Levi with the house fire there. And then an accident on Union at Cox Street. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The 17th ranked Memphis women's soccer team put a whooping on Ohio State, the Ohio State University last night, 6-1. Here to talk about that, Memphis 901 FC, who have a big match Saturday at the Charleston Battery and other things soccer-wise, including Messi Mania, is our buddy Lawrence Dockery, who you can follow on Twitter at LDoc93, writer for World Soccer Talk, host of the 901 Soccer Podcast with Bluff City Media, and also a referee. He lives and breathes for soccer as Lawrence joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Greg. How about you?
Doing good. Eli had a question yesterday, and I said, Lawrence, I bet you Lawrence knows the answer, because if you don't, then nobody does. Go ahead, Eli.
Well, I'm just trying to, because I do not know anything about soccer, and I'm trying to figure out the whole Messi thing. So, because they won the Leagues Cup, now they're playing in this U.S. Open Cup deal, correct? So
correct.
So they're playing two tournaments at the same time, and then if they had been eliminated early in those tournaments, would they have already been playing MLS games? I don't understand how this all works, how you're playing multiple tournaments while the MLS season technically is still going on, but he still hasn't played an MLS game.
Okay, so basically the Leagues Cup is a cash grab competition dreamed up by MLS to milk the Mexican soccer fans in this country out of the money that the U.S. Soccer Federation hasn't already milked them out of. Because if you notice, none of those Leagues Cup games were actually played in Mexico, and MLS Commissioner Don Garber has said that is not going to happen. They will not be playing Leagues Cup game in Mexico. They will all be here in the U.S. And so, like, if you, I'm sure you've both seen the movie Goodfellas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you know there's that scene very early on where Henry and Tommy are sitting at the airport, and he says, you know, whenever we needed money, we'd rob the airport. That's U.S. Soccer and MLS when it comes to Mexico fans. Whenever they need money, they schedule a friendly against Mexico for the U.S., and they schedule cash grab competitions against Mexican clubs. And so what they did is they dreamed up this Leagues Cup, and they put the MLS season on hold to play this tournament. Now, the U.S. Open Cup is an entirely separate and much more legitimate competition. It's the oldest soccer competition in the United States. It's been around for 100-something years. It's actually got Lamar Hunt's name on it, as a matter of fact, who I believe his family still owns the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
And that is Memphis 901 FC competes in the U.S. Open Cup. Just this year, they pulled off a big upset. They went on the road and beat Atlanta United from MLS. So the Leagues Cup and the U.S. Open Cup have nothing to do with each other. But I mean, they did. You get a berth in the CONCACAF Champions League by winning the Open Cup. So yes, believe it or not, there actually is a pathway, no matter how remote, that we could eventually one day see Memphis 901 FC in the CONCACAF Champions League. But also that to try to make the Leagues Cup seem like a more real competition, they awarded a CONCACAF Champions League berth to the winner of the Leagues Cup as well. And so Inter Miami, despite being dead last in MLS right now, has earned a berth in the CONCACAF Champions League and is ready to play in the Open Cup final next month against the Houston Dynamo.
So if they would have lost like early on, like he got here and they lost the Leagues Cup and they lost in the U.S. Open Cup, like they wouldn't have played. He would have just been sitting around on that team and they wouldn't have been playing
South
at all.
Beach.
Yes, pretty much. So if they had been eliminated early in the Leagues Cup, and then he would not have played again until Wednesday night when they had that Open Cup game against Cincinnati. They got the bulk of their Open Cup games out of the way, and they won them prior to his arrival in Miami. The Open Cup is not, it's not like the scheduling's a little bit weird. Like they'll start the Open Cup, like the MLS teams will join the Open Cup in like April, and then they'll play 2 or 3 games between April and May, and then they don't have the semifinals until August, and the final is in September. It's a little bit weird. The soccer calendar in this country is a little bit weird, but most of their Open Cup games had already been played before Messi arrived. So if they had been eliminated from the Leagues Cup, he would have just kind of been sitting there until the Open Cup game on Wednesday.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me from a scheduling standpoint, because you would think the most important thing is the actual MLS schedule, and the fact that they've actually played MLS teams, but it doesn't count as an MLS match, and that you would have had to sit around if they got eliminated early, doesn't make much sense to me. I don't understand why they don't intermingle MLS matches while they're also playing both these things, the World Cup and the other one.
You'll have to talk to Commissioner Don Garber about that. I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, it's separate competitions, so there's, I know what the NBA play-in season tournament they're going to do, or the not the play-in tournament, the mid-season showcase or whatever they're calling it, which, by the way, is also just a complete and total cash grab. But what are they're going to count, like some of the games that you play in the regular season count towards that tournament, but then if you win that tournament, you have to play like 2 extra games or something goofy like
One
that.
game. The 2 teams that play the championship will play 1 extra game. Everybody else will play their normal 82.
Right, so there'll be the extra game for the championship competitors. Yeah, so there's an extra game. It is kind of weird. It's not as bad, but you're right. There is. I think it's all goofy having this stuff in the season, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they're entirely separate competitions, so, I mean, I guess you just kind of have to be able to compartmentalize and prioritize, and some of the teams in MLS took the Leagues Cup very seriously. Nashville, Inter Miami, obviously, because they're in dead last in the league. Cincinnati is in first place in MLS, and they had a halfway decent run in the Leagues Cup. But some of the other teams like DC United, or they were just like, we don't care.
We're here for the check.
With Miami, is that they're like, how much is left in the actual season? Like if he does what he's been doing and they keep winning, is there any chance for them to come back and like make the postseason or anything?
Yeah, they are still mathematically alive for the postseason. I believe they have 12 games left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are at home. Their next one is actually tomorrow on the road at the New York Red Bulls, who are somewhere in the playoff places. But I think they would need to win at least 9 or 10, if I'm not mistaken, of their last 12 games to make the playoffs. And that may seem like a tall task, but they haven't lost since Messi's been there, so you can't rule it out at this point.
All right, one more question about Messi, and then we'll move on to the local teams. One, what was the attendance, and I know you weren't able to go, you would have been there if you could, in Nashville when they played just recently. And what type of shot in the arm is this for American soccer with having Messi playing here in the States?
The attendance for that game in Nashville was a stone-cold sellout. It was 30,109. That is a max capacity crowd for Geodis Park up there in Nashville. Geodis Park is the largest soccer stadium in the country. I've actually been fortunate enough to go. I had a credential to cover the U.S. women's game against Japan in the She Believes Cup back in February, and fingers crossed, trying to do the same. The U.S. men's national team plays a friendly there against Ghana in October. But that is a fantastic stadium, and as far as it being a shot in the arm for American soccer, I don't think there's any debate that it's a shot in the arm for American soccer. I mean, what are the odds that we would be discussing, the Leagues Cup on radio here in Memphis had Messi not been a part of it?
Great point.
The test, and obviously in the short term, anywhere he goes, he's going to sell out the stadium, and he does have 3 or 4 road games left in NFL stadiums. They got to go to Atlanta United. They got to go to Charlotte FC, who shares their stadium with the Panthers, and they got to go to the Chicago Fire, who moved back to Soldier Field last year. So those are games that are going to draw 60-something thousand people. So in the short term, it's great because he's selling out every stadium he goes to, and I'm sure the MLS season pass subscriptions on Apple have gone up. The challenge is going to be, how do you sustain that long term once the novelty of him being here wears off, and then B, once he's just not here anymore, how are you going to sustain that growth? And that's going to be the challenge. That was a challenge when Pelé came in the 70s, and they fell on their faces trying to sustain that. And then it was a challenge when David Beckham was here, and they did a much better job of sustaining that after he retired. So the challenge is going to be, how do you keep, and we saw that in one of the very early Leagues Cup games. Messi got subbed out early in the second half, and the stadium emptied out.
That's right.
So the where you're going to run into problems is, how do you keep people here? But the theory is, the more people that you can get to the games while he's here, the higher the likelihood that you're going to be able to retain more people in the long run. And in terms of American soccer, it's not just Messi being here at this moment in time that is going to be huge for the growth of the game. The next 5 or 6 years are massive for American soccer. Next summer, the Copa America, which is basically South America's conference championship, which we will be a part of, is here in the U.S. The Club World Cup is here in the U.S. in 2025. The World Cup is here in the U.S. in 2026. The Women's World Cup, U.S. Soccer has announced they are going to bid to host the 2027 Women's World Cup. And then you have Olympic soccer in L.A. in 2028.
Wow.
Impressive. So, Ben, just clear. So, theoretically, with this U.S. Open Cup, it would be possible, if things worked out, that Messi could play in Memphis?
And that possibility exists. I feel that it's a very remote possibility, given that the last 2 years, 901 FC has played every one of their 4 Open Cup games on the road. But I feel like if 901 FC were somehow drawn against Inter Miami, I feel like the folks over at 901 FC would be moving heaven and earth to figure out a way to play that game here. And I wouldn't blame them for it.
No, not at all. All right, so we got still a lot to cover. We don't have a ton of time, so let's roll through this. But Memphis 901 FC, they seem to have gotten it back together, although they're still not scoring a lot of goals, not getting a lot of W's, but at least they're getting points. They're getting a lot of draws, a scoreless draw on Wednesday. They play at Charleston. If I'm not mistaken, of course, Ben Pierman's their coach, former coach of 901 FC. Memphis beat them, I think, earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. They beat them. I was actually, unfortunately, unable. That was only one of 2 games that I've missed this year. They did beat them 3-2. That was, if I remember correctly, that was a fairly topsy-turvy back-and-forth game. But to your point, they've gotten it back together. There was that rough patch the month of July. They weren't very good. There were a couple of games back-to-back, the Orange County and the Pittsburgh game, where it seemed like Ryan Silverfield was coaching the team because they couldn't hold on to a lead.
Lawrence!
I mean, they gave up multiple goal leads.
Right.
A 2-0 lead, and then a 3-2 lead, and then a 2-0 lead against Pittsburgh. But they're 4 games unbeaten now. They've gotten 2 wins and 2 draws. For some reason, they played Indy twice in 4 games, which is kind of strange. But they go to this Saturday tomorrow. As a matter of fact, they go to Charleston. That's a tough place to play. Ben's a really good coach, but they've already proven capable of beating them this year. They're still in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. Memphis is. They're in 4th place, which means if the playoffs were today, they'd be hosting another home playoff game like they did twice last year. So they've battened down the hatches defensively. In the last 4 games, they've gotten 3 clean sheets and only given up 1 goal. So that's very impressive.
All right, 30 seconds for this answer. Bill Hamid, what happened? He's gone now.
I'm not really sure. His appearance, like he got here and seemed to be doing well, and then his appearances became few and far between, and both sides just decided, all right, this isn't working. Time to cut the cord.
All right, and then Memphis women's soccer. Wow. I know Ohio State in the past has been good. They may not be that good, but Memphis is really good. 17th ranked. They had a great run in the NCAA tournament last year. 6-1 last night. You were there.
Yes. Ohio State is no slouch program. They've been to the 6 of the last 7 or 7 of the last 8 NCAA tournaments. They went to a Sweet 16 in 2015. And the Tigers absolutely took them to the woodshed last night. 6-1. They were on them early. They were on them often. Ashley Henderson is a freshman, local product from Harding Academy, I believe. She got 2 goals last night, both within seconds of having been subbed into the game, which was kind of funny. The Ohio State coaches were a little bit irritated with Brooks Monahan up 6-0. He was still coaching his players hard, and that's why the Tigers are so good. They've been to 6 of the last 7 NCAA tournaments. They've won back-to-back conference titles. They went to the Sweet 16 last year. 3 games this year, they've won all 3 of them. They've been outscoring their opponents 13-1. They really wanted that shutout last night, but they gave away they had a handball in the box, gave away a penalty real late in the game. But overall, Coach Monahan real happy with how they're playing. They got a tough one coming up. They go to Alabama, who's ranked number 7 in the country, on Sunday. That's on the SEC Network at 7. Alabama went to the College Cup semifinals last year. They lost to the eventual champs UCLA in overtime.
Well, Brooks has done an outstanding job. Richard Mulrooney with the men. They got a win last night. So soccer over at the University of Memphis is going extremely well. And the guy who's covering it all things soccer is Lawrence Dockery. You can follow him on Twitter at LDoc93. He writes for World Soccer Talk, so make sure to read all his great offerings. And he's the host of the 901 Soccer Podcast with Bluff City Media. Thank you, Lawrence, as always. We'll talk to you down the road.
All right, talk to you later.
Appreciate it. Good stuff. All right, we need to take a time out. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG Highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility, $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate G4 PH 06839 MSRP 17895 Cross RZ 00688 MSRP 29850 Outlander PZO 59809 MSRP 30080 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:52 is the time for our FIBA World Cup update. Let's go to our FIBA World Cup reporter, Zach Boyd, to give us an update on what's happening between Canada and Dylan Brooks and France.
Yeah, so to start the game, France was up 7-0 to start the game. And then Dylan Brooks decided to put the game on his shoulders and got the first 2 buckets with 2 slams.
2 slams from DB?
2 dunks for DB.
And of course,
so right now they're in the second quarter.
And let me say this.
France is up 23-17.
Let me say this. We don't mind, or we did not mind in Memphis when Dylan took it to the hole and finished. It was those 3-pointers he was jacking up.
He's 0 for 1 from 3-point range.
There you go.
He did take
it to the hole and say,
which is shocking.
I started laughing.
Shocking that he's only taken 1 3-pointer so far. The Canadian team,
it's loaded, right?
Pretty darn good, man.
Rattle off some of the names.
Well, for Canada, you've got Dylan, you've got R.J. Barrett, you got Lou Dort, you've got Kelly Olynyk, you've got Zach Edey, you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dwight Powell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Wow. Canada's loaded.
Loaded.
But you hate him.
I do.
And then for France, Rudy Gobert, of course, is there. Evan Fournier, Nicolas Batum.
Yeah, you got what's the little point guard's name? Nando De Colo, the former Spur. He's played for
I always thought that guy was Spanish.
Not that I know of.
No, I mean, I'm sure you're right. You're reading it, but I thought the guy was Spanish. Did they have the ghost of Tony Parker? Is he still playing for Team France?
You got Yabusele or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He was a former first-round pick.
See, I'm a Frenchman, so certainly at this game,
you should know.
I really hate Canada.
Savoir. So, like I said earlier, if you missed this, 55 NBA players are competing in the FIBA World Cup, which, again, underway today. The United States will play tomorrow against New Zealand. And they have all NBA players.
Oh, you can watch those on ESPN+.
What time again is the USA-New Zealand game?
7:40 a.m.
7:40 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'll be up pretty early tomorrow, so I'm sure I'll tune in for that. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing with different plans and options to choose from. Maybe you want to go 6 months. Maybe you want to go a year and a half. They can do that for you. They will work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, as you know. Your insurance company can't tell you the company you need to use for whatever the case may be. In this case, obviously, a new roof. So please choose local. Please choose Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So for all you business owners out there, property managers, of course homeowners as well, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. All their work satisfaction guaranteed. They do work around the home. If you can't do it yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters. They can install shingles, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Quality work at a very reasonable price. And as I mentioned, satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't like what they did, they will fix it for you. They will make sure that you are satisfied. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon today, 901-438-5084. I know you're probably driving around listening to that number. You can't write it down. You can always call the station for any of our sponsors, for any of the sponsors. We will get you the numbers for those companies. You can also go online to newroofmemphis.com.
And remember, too, when I was listing that Canadian team, that's minus Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
So you could throw him in there as well if he was playing. That's a
Right
they got a pretty,
now, Nikhil Alexander-Walker is hooping right now. He is a menace.
Well, we were talking about it earlier that even though the United States...
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, by the way, 0 for 5 from the field.
He'll get it going. But even though the United States doesn't have all their best players, they have obviously some really good players, including Jaren Jackson Jr., that they should win. I know the world has caught up to the United States. You know, we go back years and years ago, and the epic battles with the USSR, but they could lose. It's not out of the question. They have lost before, but it's still a surprise when they do lose. But this team, even though, again, you're not looking at the best of the NBA, you're looking at certainly very, very good players that should win the FIBA World Cup. But you got some other countries that have really taken positive steps, and they are going to be good and are good right now. Should be a very fun competition. By the way, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's not playing for Greece, said he does not plan to sign a contract extension when he becomes eligible next month. He will not sign one until he knows that the Bucks are committed to winning another title. So why don't he just take the position of general manager, maybe player personnel director? Like, what is going to how is he satisfied when a player says this? And I understand where they're coming from, right? They don't want to commit. They want to make sure there's a commitment from the team, from the organization. But they're going to be the ones who decide whether or not it's a fair commitment. You make a trade and you go, that's not good enough. Or you're going to actually dictate to management who you need to trade for or who you need to sign as a free agent. It's a slippery slope when it comes to that. But that's the star treatment you get with the NBA like no other professional sports league. Those guys dictate what goes on most of the time, and if they don't like it, they take their ball and they leave.
Lester Quinones is scoreless for the Dominican Republic. They are leading late against the Philippines, 83-79. He is 0 for 4 from the field. Karl Anthony Towns has 26 for them. Jordan Clarkson's going off for the Philippines with 28, but it's a really good game going on. There's 4 games going on right now, I believe it is.
Karl Anthony Towns plays for the Dominican Republic?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Did Lester start?
26-10.
Did Lester come off the bench or start?
Lester started, but he's only played he's played just under 14 minutes, or just over 14 minutes.
Wow. Crushed it against University of Memphis in their meeting down in the Dominican Republic. Competition a little bit stiffer, I guess. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, hour number 3. We got some NFL news. We got some Major League Baseball news. We do have an open segment if you'd like to call in or text in. The start of college football, of course, tomorrow, 901-360-8255. Call in or text in on the Sports 56 listener lines. And then at about 9:30 or so, 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey everybody, a little summer drive adventure is all yours in one of these hot new All-Star Chevys. And Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are. Silverados for sure. And they have financing down as low as 1.9 on most of the new Silverados, and your good credit deserves it. It really does. Trail Boss, High Country, and you can see Kevin or Jeff to order any custom Silverado or any new Chevy you want. Drive one of these Tahoes or Equinoxes. That'll be a sweet last summer drive for any adventure. And if you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned vehicle, All-Star is loaded up. Silverados, Corvette Stingrays. If it's not here, just ask Jeff and he'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin told me to thank all of you who are bringing your cars and trucks here to sell. You could get a check today for some crazy good money. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Collierville. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Memphis attorneys. 6000 Poplar Avenue, Suite 225, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119. CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
The average break-in lasts 8 to 10 minutes, so fast response is crucial. That's why Simply Safe launched its breakthrough technology, 24/7 live guard protection, to help stop crime in real time. Simply Safe agents can actually see, speak to, and deter intruders. Right now, my listeners get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for free and a free month at Fast Protect Monitoring. This special offer limited time only. Visit simplysafecolin.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Sports 56 traffic.
Got a couple of accidents on the roadways. Still working a house fire on Ford at Levi. Hopefully the fire is put out. Accident on Graham and Macon. That's a new accident there. And then new accident on Lamar at Winchester. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see.
We did it, baby. We did it. Heat index at 100 at 9:04, for goodness sakes. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings on this steamy Friday, August 25th, 2023. But the weekend is just about here. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd, and a cast of thousands from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their summer clearance sale continues at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Yep, 88 with the humidity at 72. That adds up to a feel like of 100. We're looking at a high today of 100, so that heat index, Captain Math will tell you that's going to be about 1,000. Tonight, low of 79. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Again, a high near 101. Air quality alert until 5:30 tonight. Excessive heat warning until Saturday at 10 o'clock. That's your weather. Got an open segment here, a number of different topics we're going to get into, including the NFL, and then we'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation.
Looks like Leicester and the Dominican Republic will hold on, get a win in their first game. They lead 86-81 with 12 seconds remaining.
Good for Leicester. Again, the local connections with Leicester on the DR, the former Memphis Tiger, former Grizzly Dylan Brooks with Canada, Jaren Jackson Jr. with the United States, of course, and Santi Aldama with Spain at the FIBA World Cup. NFL, news from yesterday, the Cardinals acquired quarterback Josh Dobbs from the Cleveland Browns, the former Tennessee Vol quarterback. Kyler Murray's been banged up. Colt McCoy is an older backup quarterback who has also dealt with injuries, so they went out and they got a little insurance in Josh Dobbs. But if I'm Arizona, perhaps I'm looking at making some type of deal with John Lynch in San Francisco, because the Trey Lance story is pretty incredible when you think about it. The San Francisco 49ers, in the draft that Trey Lance was available, moved up to number 3 to take him. Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa was picked before him.
No, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson.
I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. My mistake. Get these drafts all mixed up. Anyway, they moved up. They traded to get in that position to take Trey Lance, who played at North Dakota State.
I believe that's correct, yep.
And had huge numbers. Big, lively arm, very talented athlete. And they draft him, and they think highly of him, so be it. He has been slow to kind of not only mature as an NFL quarterback, but to really grasp the system, I would say, that they use in San Francisco. That's what other people have said, so I'm just regurgitating what they said. And then you had Brock Purdy in a different draft, right? Different draft. Taken as Mr. Irrelevant. Taken as the last player selected in the draft. And now Brock Purdy, coming off a major injury, mind you, is back to being the number 1 quarterback with the veteran, even though he hasn't been around that long, Sam Darnold winning the number 2 job. It is a weird story. But Trey Lance, they haven't given up on Trey Lance. John Lynch said, yeah, look, we're going to look at the situation. If it helps us, helps him out, although you know they care about the obvious, which they should, them, and not really him. But if I'm Arizona or somebody else worried about my quarterback who starts and loves to run and gets banged up, I would look at Trey Lance, because you probably can get him for a pretty relatively cheap price.
Well, this is one of the all-time colossal disasters pulled off by the 49ers. They give up 3 first-round picks.
Yes.
To get Trey Lance.
No question.
Who can't beat out Sam Darnold for the backup job. By the way, also illustrates even more. Last year, they got lucky in some ways that he got hurt. Naming him the starting quarterback last year was a complete and utter disaster. They got bailed out because he gets hurt. But because he clearly wasn't ready to be your starting quarterback, if now he can't even be your backup quarterback behind and beat out Sam Darnold.
They screwed
it's crazy to think
they screwed up the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing too for a while there.
With that disaster of a trade for a draft pick, that they have been able to still be one of the best teams in the league. Normally, you give up 3 first-round draft picks and get essentially nothing in return for those. That's tough to recover from. They've done amazing job of staying really good despite one of the worst trades in NFL history.
Because they have talent all around. I mean, that's a talented team. And I completely agree with you. When you look at what they did, trading 3 number 1s, it's an absolute disaster. However, if we're going to rip them apart for that, we got to give them a little bit of credit for taking a flyer on Brock Purdy and him turning out to be the quarterback that he has been so far. Now, there's no guarantees that this continues for Purdy, because teams now know exactly what he's all about. When he was on the field, they were probably, who is this guy? Mr. Irrelevant? I'm not saying they took him lightly, but probably the big game plan until he became the starter wasn't, yeah, we better watch out for this dude. So he's come in. He's coming off a major injury. Can Purdy do what he did last season? I mean, that's a high ask for him to do that. But maybe he does have the goods. And sometimes these things happen. We know Tom Brady and where he was drafted. But this guy was the actual last pick in the draft. But Trey Lance, unless he gets a chance somewhere else and proves people wrong, unfortunately, he will go on that list of greatest busts in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's third overall pick. It's not just he's the third overall pick, but again, what they gave up to get him to move into that spot. It was 3 firsts and a third for that. And I don't remember where the 49ers were originally picked, so I'm not sure how far they moved up to get him. But I mean, that's...
Were they in the teens?
And to end up, again, in the end, it looks like he will basically play one full game for them. The first game last year, before he got hurt in game 2, will be probably the only game he actually ever plays for the 49ers. And you gave up that much to get him.
Again, the only solace is that you got really lucky in taking a flyer on Brock Purdy. Because if you did not, and you're looking at this Trey Lance situation going, what do we do? Garoppolo obviously was very effective for the Niners, then the injuries, and then the whole deal where they were going to trade him, and then they didn't trade him, and he was hanging on. It was just, that was not handled well either. But San Francisco is a really, really talented team. You look at the offensive skill position players that they have. So sometimes you can overcome that. Even it's hard to overcome a mediocre quarterback, but Brock Purdy played to the level of the rest of that talent on that team. Whether or not he can do this consistently, I'll be surprised if he can. But once in a while in sports, like I said, you find that diamond in the rough, and it just kind of falls in your lap, and all of a sudden it turns out pretty darn well for him.
The 49ers were 12th.
Yeah, I thought they were in the teens
12
somewhere.
to 3.
Yeah.
It was with the Dolphins, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then for the Dolphins, they flipped that to the Eagles, which for the number 6 pick, and they took Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, it's a great pick. And then what are they going to do with those other picks? Are these future, or have they used them yet? All those picks they received in the trade.
Which the Eagles...
They couldn't use all of them. There's 3 number 1s.
The Eagles... That's the pick the Eagles traded to the Cowboys, who became Micah Parsons.
Right. They end up getting Devontae
So 49ers could have stayed at 12 and got Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Wow. The Eagles got who? Devontae Smith out of that?
Yeah, Devontae Smith out of it.
So we're talking about... Oh, the Eagles got Devontae Smith out of it. Right, okay.
So because of the 49ers willing to trade up to get Trey Lance, the Dolphins end up getting Jalen Waddle, the Cowboys got Michael Parsons, and the Eagles got Devontae Smith.
But what else did the Dolphins get?
Would have just not done it. They just stayed where they were. They could have drafted Micah Parsons.
If they
had him on that defense that is already unbelievable, and had an actual couple of other first-round picks.
What year was this? 2020?
2021.
2021. So the Dolphins still have how many of those picks left?
Well, they traded that 2022 first round pick to get was it Tyreek Evans and Bradley Chubb? Isn't that that was part of that package?
Former Tiger Tyreek Evans?
Who?
Because remember, like the big package was the Dolphins end up getting a lot of those picks from the 49ers. And then they end up flipping those picks.
What did they do with the 2022 pick? They had the 2022 pick and they had the 2023 first-round pick.
Yeah, what did they do with the first-rounders? They flipped both those?
They flipped both of those. The Dolphins did.
And what did they get out of all those flips, you said?
Tyreek Hill and Bradley.
Yeah, you said Tyreek Evans.
I think you said Tyreek Evans.
He's
been banned from the NBA. He didn't get an NFL career. Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
And then what did they do with the 2023 pick? Or that
would be this year. Did they have 2 first-rounders?
Yeah, the 2023 first-round pick from the 49ers was for Bradley Chubb.
And the 2022 was for Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Not too bad, huh?
So Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb. They had the third-round pick that they got in that. I think that third-round pick was that year, that 2021 year. I don't know who they took with that. But, yeah, it's pretty impressive haul that the Dolphins got out of that pick.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the debacle of a pick when you look at it. Hopefully the guy gets an opportunity one day and maybe makes the most of it, and then you won't put him down as one of the biggest busts of all time. But right now you would have to think that he's going to be on that list. It's a list you don't want to be on. But San Francisco at least has the saving grace of taking that flyer on Purdy because it has worked out, obviously, with Purdy. Heisman odds this year. Caleb Williams, winner last year, trying to become only the second to win back-to-back, to win multiple Heismans. That would be Archie Griffin. 15-4 odds for Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels is 10-1. Quinn Ewers, and you like Texas this year, 14-1 if you want to take a crack with him to win it. J.J. McCarthy is 16-1. Bo Nix, 16-1. Sam Hartman is 16-1. Drake May, 16-1. Jordan Travis of Florida State, 16-1. Cade Klubnik, 16-1 from Clemson. Michael Penix Jr., 18-1, Washington. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, 18-1. And Carson Beck, wouldn't that be something? If he could follow up Stetson Bennett, first year as a starter, lead Georgia again to a national championship, which would be 3 in a row, hasn't been done since Minnesota in the 30s, and then wins the Heisman. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I can tell you where I will, or may or may not already have money, but I will definitely have it on Quinn Ewers and Marvin Harrison Jr.
I knew you were going to throw it on Ewers because, you love Texas, and he's going to have a big year unless something happened to Ewers and Arch Manning stepped up and led the way. Yeah, Marvin Harrison is an interesting one. It really is. Because I do think that voters...
He's the best player in college football.
He's great. Ohio State still has to figure out which quarterback is going to be thrown on the ball, but I think they like both. Ryan Day likes both those quarterbacks. But it's interesting because I do believe there's biases a lot of times with voters. And there will be some voters out there that will specifically not... If Caleb Williams has a big year, right, you got to give him heavy consideration. If he has a big year numbers-wise and USC goes far, like, for example, they win the Pac-12, if they get to the playoffs, I mean, come on. You got to consider Caleb Williams even though he won. But there'll be some that will not vote for the guy because he won last year. It would just... There's a bias. There always is with voters. Not every voter, but some voters certainly will have some sort of bias. I've been on a run of watching sports documentaries here over the last week. I told you I thought the Johnny Manziel documentary was pretty good. I did not think that the University of Florida Swamp Kings documentary was great. It could have easily been 2 episodes as opposed to 4. They could have dove deeper, I thought, into stuff, and they did not. But, again, a documentary is still a documentary. It's just like Hard Knocks. No matter what team it is, it's still great when you have Liev Schreiber narrating those things. But I'm telling you, this BS high about that made-up Bishop Sycamore, and I remember on this show being on top of that stuff going, wait a minute, something's not right about this school. Something's not right. That documentary is tremendous. And that's even without, they did not get any help from ESPN. They did not get any help from some of the other entities that you would think would enhance it. And even without that, this documentary was incredible because of that coach who is a criminal, should be in jail. I mean, he's basically laughing at the situation, laughing at how he pulled the wool over the eyes of these kids, how he pulled the wool over the eyes of all the different companies, food companies, hotels that he dealt with. You have to watch this documentary. It's incredible. Really, really well done.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I want to, or will be watching it sometime soon. But I mean, the guy probably should be laughing at people if they're dumb enough. If for ESPN to put a fake school onto ESPN, that's on them.
That's laughable, that part. But he has 30 lawsuits against him.
He got the kids great exposure. He put them on ESPN.
Yeah, but none of them have continued. I think maybe one ended up moving on to college football, but he has 30 lawsuits against him. He's filed for bankruptcy. He denies it. Attacked his girlfriend several times because all the players said he did. I mean, unless they're conspired to all lie, which I don't think so. I came away so impressed with those young men Many of them came out of situations with broken households, parents that were in jail or a parent that was in jail, drug situations. They were incredibly articulate talking about the situation in the interviews that they did. Some have gone on to, good, solid 9-to-5 jobs, one in the music industry. It's incredible. It really is something. So I would suggest you check it out. From the world of Major League Baseball, it was only a matter of time. 3-time All-Star Steven Strasburg planning to retire, according to reports. Numerous injuries that guy battled. He looked like he was going to be Sandy Koufax. And he was for a while.
Interesting choice.
I don't know why Sandy Koufax came.
You went left-handed instead of a right-handed.
Well, I'm not looking at that. I'm just looking at great. I'm just looking at great pitchers. I don't know why I thought Sandy Koufax came to my head, but
short career.
It was It's a short career. Yeah, but Sandy Koufax Sandy Koufax didn't bail because of injuries, right? Sandy Koufax bailed because I don't know if he got burned out or just wanted to retire early. I forget his situation, to be honest with you, but. This is injury. This is all because of his inability to stay on the mound and to play. And that was a guy who was destined for the Hall of Fame. But, of course, it's happened a couple of times. The Cubs, right? You dealt with that with Mark Pryor, with Kerry Wood, right? These were guys that could have maybe gone on one day to become great pitchers where they would be considered for the Hall of Fame. And it didn't happen.
Strasburg reminds me a lot of those guys. I mean, Strasburg, he had the great 2019 season where he had a great regular season, and he won World Series MVP, and it looked like he had that was after they had shut him down the 1 year, everything else, but it looked like everything was smart. They win a World Series. He's World Series MVP. He is on to great things. Crazy to think he made 8 more appearances after that season. 8 more starts. That's it. After that 2019 season, when I think he went like 18-6 or something, and then that World Series MVP and all that. Mm-hmm. I might have led the league in strikeouts too, but made 8 more starts, and now it's done.
Football and basketball, you have a chance, because we've seen it, where your career doesn't last as long as you hope, but you were a star for a certain amount of time, and it's still good enough to get you into the Hall of Fame. But with baseball, it is all about longevity. I mean, you have to have the goods, you have to have the numbers, but longevity is extremely pivotal to make it to Cooperstown. And just unfortunately, Strasburg way, way short of what everybody was hoping for, certainly him, with his career.
It's, Mark Pryor had the great 2003 season when he went 18-6 in his second year and looked like he was destined for unbelievable greatness. 3rd in Cy Young Award voting, everything else that year. Of course, the Game 6 situation against the Marlins. And then from that point on, he made a total of at least he got another 56 appearances, 56 starts post that greatness. Strasburg made 8 more starts after that year.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue is a great option this weekend, whether you're dining in, dining out, right? You can have it delivered to you. DoorDash or any one of those services can bring that delicious Corky's barbecue to your home or office, wherever you're dining in or out. It is Corky's. It's been around for about 40 years now, and they have been catering for those 40 years. And they can come to your location, set it up for you, starting at just $8.99 per person for that delicious slow smoked barbecue and all the great sides that they have. Plus, the rolls they have are the best. When you head over for lunch or dinner, grab yourself an entree, maybe the pulled pork platter, barbecue sandwich, their award-winning catfish plate, their tamales, and make sure you pick up a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99. They got party packs starting at just $7.49. Lunch specials every single day. 4 convenient locations in the Mid-South. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, that's my go-to. Poplar Avenue in Collierville. Germantown Parkway in Cordova, my old go-to. And Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Reserve your private party room as well. You got an occasion coming up, little birthday party, whatever it may be. The Cordova and Olive Branch locations have a private party room, so call and reserve your date and time. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. All right, jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now, 901-360-8255. I don't want to beg. We got a great prize package. 10 in a row is coming up next. It's the game show that has swept the nation. We're doing that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P501 5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P560 3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Salary starting at $60,700. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Hi, everybody. It's the Herd. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business and evolving your passions. They push what technology can do so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. this hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's what we're taught.
This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Ridgeway and 385, online, AcuraofMemphis.com. Good time to go take a test drive. Believe me, the air conditioning works well in those new Acuras. So if you're out there taking a test drive in this weather, you're gonna be just fine. Great time to go by, take a test drive, check out those beautiful automobiles, talk with the great folks at Acura of Memphis. Of course, if you want to do it from the comfort of your own home, you can do it on your computer at AcuraofMemphis.com, where you can check out all the different models of Acura, get all the details you need, check out their selection of pre-owned vehicles, get trade-in value on your current vehicle. You can even chat with a representative right there online at AcuraofMemphis.com. Nothing beats the in-person experience you get when you go see the folks at Acura of Memphis.
Last summer, I had no air conditioning in my car. I had already gotten it fixed, and I wasn't going to fix it again because I knew I was getting a new car. But remember, the cars, you couldn't find any new cars anywhere. You couldn't find pre-owns for that matter. It was really tough, and I had to wait. I had a car ordered, and I didn't get it until October. I love my car now. I love my air conditioning. I had to go through that whole summer last year with no AC. That is brutal, absolutely brutal. So, yeah. Those new Acuras, they're all going to have functioning air conditions. I can guarantee you that. All right, time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. It's 10 in a row. We need you guys to jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now. 901-360-8255. Only restriction if you won in the last month, you are not eligible. What are they playing for?
We've got quite a prize package. Got $25 to Sunrise, either the original on Jefferson or Sunrise East. $50 to 117 Prime downtown, and golf for 4 at Miramichi.
Ooh, golf for 4 at Miramichi? You don't have to use it today. You don't have to use it tomorrow when it's brutally hot. Wait till it gets nice and cool in the fall. That is darn good. 360-8255. Here's your question. Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Now, all the schools I have on these two lists have a football program. You don't have to worry about that. So really you're looking at whether or not these schools that I give you have an enrollment of 50,000 or more. It's interesting, when I looked at the list of enrollment, there is one school that doesn't have a football program, or at least not a D1 football program. I don't know of anything else. Maybe they have a smaller program, but there was only one. Everything else had a football program. So schools that have a football program, check, and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. This was up-to-date August 1st enrollment. 360-8255.
Speaking of the weather, by the way, after tomorrow, we are, according to the forecast, in for a absolutely glorious stretch.
Oh, I hope so.
Highs are supposed to be in the 80s.
You got to be kidding me.
Starting Sunday and all throughout next week.
There is a God.
Supposed to be temperatures in the mid-80s. Going to be absolutely gorgeous. Just got to make it through. Tomorrow's the last of the really hot days right now in the forecast.
So that is great, especially if it's next Saturday when area teams kick off their season in college football, including the University of Memphis.
Right now, the forecasted high for next Saturday, let's see, is 90 degrees.
Still a little toasty.
Low of 66.
Okay. 6 o'clock kickoff week from tomorrow. 360-8255. Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more.
360-8255, 360-8255. Again, $25 from Sunrise, $50 from 117 Prime, and golf for 4 out at Miramichi. All going to the winner of 10 in a row. Matt is first up. Hey, Matt.
What's happening, Matt?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing good. All right. UCLA.
Yeah.
360-8255. It's not as obvious as you would think. It's an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Step right up. 360-8255 as we await your calls. We mentioned a few times already the FIBA World Cup is underway. Australia, of course, playing in the Philippines, this event, but Australia led by Patty Mills, 25 points. They were a first-day winner, knocking off Finland. Josh Giddey went for 14 with 9 rebounds and 8 assists, and nearly a triple-double for the member of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
There are games in Japan as well. I don't know where they played.
So Philippines and Japan, so the Far East pretty much hosting.
There's a couple arenas like in Philippines, and there's at least one in Okinawa.
Okinawa.
They're playing.
Did we bring up Okinawa for 5 favorite things? Wasn't Okinawa a beach that somebody had on their list? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. All right, who's next?
Australia, by the way, did play at Okinawa Arena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then you got, there's also Jakarta in Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan.
Wow.
Games are all being played.
That's probably a large geographical area. I wonder, by the way, if Steven Adams will be there to support New Zealand versus the United States tomorrow. See his buddy Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. You would think he might be there, right? He has the money.
I don't.
Travel's not an issue.
Just hope he's healthy.
Yes.
Andre is next up. Hey, Andre.
Dre.
Hey, what's up?
Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Michigan State.
No.
Penn State.
No.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Florida International.
Yeah.
USC.
No.
Cal.
Yeah.
360-8255. Pretty good run there.
Yeah, very impressive. I know nothing about enrollment, so that was impressive. 360-8255, 360-8255. Again, the prize winner will get $25 from Sunrise, $50 from 117 Prime, and golf for 4 out at Miramichi. Tim is next up. Hey, Tim.
Tim?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. Again, schools that have a football program, and they all have football programs here. I'm not tricking you. An enrollment of 50,000 or more. UCLA.
No.
Wisconsin.
No.
Florida State.
Yes.
360-8255. Yeah. I mean, some you would think so. And, I throw in a Florida International, which is a yes. I mean, it's just, you never know with the enrollment. It's not an easy question.
Mike is next. Hey, Mike.
Mike?
Hey,
Mike.
hello there.
Hey, Mike. All right, here we go. Michigan State.
No.
Penn State.
No.
Minnesota.
Yes.
Florida International.
Yes.
USC.
No.
Cal.
No.
Purdue.
Ooh, Purdue. I'm going to say no.
360-8255. Jerry Palm would be upset with you.
Open phone lines, 360-8255, 360-8255. Chance to win 10 in a row. Win yourself a great prize package, $25 to Sunrise, $50 to 117 Prime, and golf for 4 out at Miramichi. That includes your carts as well, so you could take 3 friends with you and make their day. Make them very happy. And again, next week, got some beautiful weather going to be here if you can get a good chance to get out and play some golf. 360-8255. 360-8255 to play 10 in a row. Got a couple of open lines behind George. What's up, George?
Hi, George.
Hey, let's try it.
Sure. UCLA.
No.
Wisconsin.
No.
Florida State.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Illinois.
Yes.
North Texas.
No.
Houston.
No.
Florida.
No.
360-8255 is the number. Got close. George made a good run. We're getting closer now. As the vultures will start to swoop in now, as the lists start to dwindle, we're getting close. Make sure you've written down all the right answers, or at least have a good memory.
KC, what's up?
KC?
What up?
Here we go. Schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Michigan State.
No.
Penn State.
Yeah.
360-8255. We don't want to regress here.
Dan, what's happening?
Hey, guys.
Hi, Dan. UCLA.
No.
Wisconsin.
No.
Florida State.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Illinois.
Yes.
North Texas.
No.
Houston.
No.
Florida.
Yes.
Texas A&M.
No.
360-8255. I was feeling good about that one. All right, couple of open lines. We're down to the 9th school on list 1. Next person gets the second list, though, and that is, we're about halfway through on that one. Open lines, we can only do this for a few more moments, then we got to take a timeout and come back for our final segment. So great prize package. Once again, Eli, what is it?
$25 to Sunrise, $50 to 117 Prime, and golf for 4 at Miramichi, all going to the winner, if we have a winner, of 10 in a row. Folks, have you discovered Genesis Diamonds yet? Well, if you haven't, you need to. If you're in the market for diamonds, especially engagement rings, any fine jewelry, go check out Genesis Diamonds. From the moment you walk in the door, you will be blown away. Beautiful showroom, which looks like something you'd find in New York or Las Vegas. And then plus the selection is absolutely out of this world. Just case after case after case. Lines of jewelry that nobody else in Memphis has at all. Plus great people to deal with, not commission salespeople who are trying to pressure you to buy the most expensive thing. They do not work on commission at all at Genesis Diamonds, so there's no pressure on you. They're there to educate you and help you buy that jewelry and let you know exactly what you're looking for and what you want and what is right for you. Plus, the prices are the best you'll find in town as well. They guarantee the lowest prices, direct importer prices. They're taking out the middleman, so you save money as well. So great selection, great price, and no pressure sales. That's what it's about at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. That's Poplar and Perkins Extended, right there in the middle of the shopping center. If you're in the market for any kind of jewelry, make sure you check them out at Genesis Diamonds.
Germany knocks off Japan 81-63. Germany gave the United States a nice little run in an exhibition game. Mo Wagner leading the way with 25 points and 9 rebounds. We'll take our final time out. I will come back and give you still an opportunity, but if there's nobody on the line, we'll move on because I think Zach has put something together for us in honor of week 0 in college football, which is tomorrow. Not a whole lot of games, but at least they're playing college football. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
Make this the summer sales event is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get ready to ride in your new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $29,990 or $425 a month. Got some hauling to do? We Gossett covered in 2023 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x4, $39,990 or $579 a month. Or how about some employee pricing from Gossett on all Jeep Gladiators? 2023 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-door 4x4 now just $669 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 3500 down, Charger PH 508-657, MSRP 35930, Ram PN 671-333, MSRP 48390, Jeep PL 561602, MSRP 54655. Must finance through Chrysler Capital, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Marks Bensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Memphis football is back Saturday, September 2nd versus Bethune-Cookman at 6 o'clock. We need Memphis at our 901 game home opener as we celebrate our city and welcome the excitement of college football back to the 901. See the new Tiger Tailgate, a new team run out, the Bill Street Flippers, and more. Tickets start at just $20 to witness the 901's football team in action. Be there Saturday, September 2nd. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute.
Boy, I hate it when we can't give away these prizes. I want you guys to win, but unfortunately, we did not have a winner of 10 in a row this week, but we'll do it again next week. Again, you got to get in there pretty quick, and since there's nobody on the line, we will move on. The question was schools that have a football program and an enrollment of 50,000 or more. Some of the schools we did not get to included Indiana, which is a no. Cal, we did get to, is a no. Purdue's a yes. Michigan is a no. Alabama is a no. UCF is a yes. How about this? Texas A&M is number 1. 74,829 enrollment. Number 2 is UCF, 68,442. And number 3 is Ohio State at 61,677. Number 4 is New York University.
How about that? NYU.
How many national championships has NYU won? So, again, I don't even know. Maybe do they play D3 football or something? I don't think they play football at all. But there you go. That's the top 3, plus then New York University. That is 10 in a row.
Speaking of Michigan, interesting move by Jim Harbaugh as far as who the coaches will be.
Yeah. While
he is out with his 3-game suspension, as there will be a different head coach for each game, and actually one game will have 2 different head coaches. Jesse Minter will be the coach for the East Carolina game. Game 2 against UNLV, Jay Harbaugh, his son, will coach one half, and Mike Hart, the former great Michigan running back, will coach the other half. Good to see they're taking this seriously.
Yeah.
They're really scared of these games.
His wife will coach Game 3.
Game 3, Sharon Moore will be the head coach against Bowling Green. Harbaugh's dad will be the assistant head coach. The strength and conditioning coach will be the associate head coach. The strength and conditioning coach is the associate head coach. Now, I don't know why you have an assistant head coach, you got an associate head coach, you got different head coaches for every game. I don't know what the hell's going on, but clearly Michigan not real worried about these first 3 games of the year where Jim Harbaugh's not going to be there, but make it a family affair. So for one half of one game, his son will be the head coach. His dad will be the associate head coach.
I was joking about his mom,
or
but
assistant
I
head
wasn't
coach.
that far off his dad, for goodness sakes. Yeah, I don't think they're really too worried about those opponents. All right, so early in the show, in fact, just to get things fired up for college football, early in segment number 1, we played the fight songs, 2 of the great fight songs. Notre Dame and Navy, they're playing in Dublin, Ireland, and you could argue either one, right? Notre Dame has the best fight song or Navy has the best fight song. Very, very good. Not a lot of games on the docket tomorrow. And, in fact, there's some obscure games, and they're obscure teams in the sense that we don't talk a lot about, at least on this show, about UMass football. We don't talk a lot about New Mexico State football. So of these games tomorrow, again, not a lot of teams, I had Zach, and I don't know which ones he picked, throughout 4 fight songs. We're going to do this pretty quick. So Eli and I will have to guess at what school it is that's playing tomorrow and what this fight song is, who they represent. So give us the first one here.
All right, I need Eli to turn his head because he can look at my screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a cheater. All right, what do you got? Of the games we have tomorrow.
All fight songs sound the same.
Yeah, there's variations. Who would you guess this one is?
There's like 5 fight songs, and every fight song goes off of those 5. That's what it is. Like, it literally is. There's like 5 or 6 different ones, and everybody's is pretty close to one of those 5 or 6.
It's a
Memphis
type
doesn't
of
sound like
rhythm
that.
to
Memphis
it.
is fight song. I'm gonna guess Louisiana Tech.
I'm gonna go. I gotta pull up the list of people playing.
Look at the game here. Look at the games we had yesterday.
I'm gonna go
for
with
a pick 6.
I'll go with Ohio.
Who's the winner?
Guess. It is the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State.
Oh, man. Rich Rod, baby. Rich Rod. Okay. Song number 2. This does sound similar.
They're all the same. There's 5 fight songs in America.
All right, you guess first. This one.
I'm going to go Ohio.
Again? I'm going to go...
Spoiler, I'm going to guess Ohio till I'm
going to go San Jose State.
They are the Panthers of FIU.
Oh, man, Mike McIntyre. Former Tigers defensive coordinator. All right, we're 0 for 2. Song number 3. Fight song number 3. Now, this one sounds really different than the others. Ooh. Okay, I got to... I'm first. I feel good about this one. I'm going Hawaii. I'm going Hawaii with this one.
I'm going Ohio.
Which one is it?
They are the Minutemen of Massachusetts.
Darn it.
Darn it.
All right. We're 0 for 3. Song number 4. A little more serious, this one. All right, you're first. You gonna guess Ohio?
I think Zach's not playing Ohio now because he knows that I don't know if
Well, he's already put these 4 together, so this was done before the commercial break, so he's not altering.
I'm going to say San Jose State.
You know, I don't know what Vandy's sound like, but I don't think he put Vandy on there. I'm going to go, who did you say?
I said San Jose State.
I'm going to go San Diego State.
Should have trusted God. The Bobcats of Ohio, baby!
Oh, that's so
I thought
funny.
you were avoiding playing them because I.
No, you didn't just pick them out willy nilly. I mean, you had this already set up, right?
Yeah, I have already
but he
set
could
it
easily
up.
found a different one. I thought maybe once I started guessing Ohio and everyone, you went and got a different one.
Yeah, so initially Ohio was third on my tabs here, and I was like, I need throw a curveball.
See.
But he didn't change. But he didn't add others. You had the 4.
Yeah,
and
I've
you weren't
already
gonna
had
alter
the
from
4.
your 4.
I had to change the lineup here a little bit.
So
I wanted to see.
I got cheated. I got cheated.
I wanted to see how far you was willing to go.
You didn't trust
with
yourself.
If you would have played Ohio third, I would have been right.
But you didn't, so you know.
You didn't, yeah. And you said you were going to guess Ohio every time. You would have won. Instead, we both go 0 for 4. Wah, 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 wah. And again, all those teams, yeah, this sounds fun. All those teams that you played the flights, or schools that you played the fight song for are in action tomorrow. You got Ohio and San Diego State. You got UMass and New Mexico State. You got Hawaii and Vandy. You got San Jose State, USC, Florida International La Tech, and, of course, Navy and Notre Dame.
Zach, by the way, did you see the kiss, which we talked about, has cost the man his job now?
Yeah,
he's going to resign. Which and they,
the Spanish dude?
They also said apparently the original quote from the girl, when she didn't really care about it, they say now that may not have actually been her that said that or something like that. I don't understand the whole deal. It's a very weird situation. Like, I don't know who made this quote up and attributed it to her, but they're saying that actually didn't come from her or something. I don't know.
Wait, I was on vacation. Is this the Spanish guy
Yes.
who? So what do you do? Just give it girl a kiss on the lips or something?
Yes.
And he just randomly picked one
just
of the
grabbed her by the
national team
face
players and just
Did
gave
he
her a
think he
smooch.
was Richard Dawson? I mean, if you use the Richard Dawson excuse, you're fine. You could do that in this day and age.
I got caught up in the moment.
Yes, you're Richard Dawson. You're being nice. You can kiss any girl right there on the lips. You're not going to get in trouble.
At first, everybody was really offended except for her because, again, there was this quote that she's like, it was just, in the moment, everything else, excitement over the win, everything else, and she didn't really care about it. Everybody else was offended for her. But now they're saying, but she apparently then later put out a statement talking about that stuff like that should be punished. And then they say the original quote actually didn't come from her or something, that was, I don't know. But yeah, apparently he's going to resign now. So he's the kiss has cost him. Of course,
kiss or death.
There also is some other. Apparently, he was doing some other stuff. Like,
was he doing some fondling too?
Well, they say literally right after the match, he grabbed his crotch or something
in
celebration.
Right. This guy's got a problem.
And there was a little girl, some princess of somewhere that was right there. I don't know.
Ends up being this guy's a sick.
Apparently, this guy
sick SOB
has apparently a bit of a reputation of being a bit of a creep.
He's a Casanova.
So this was. But
no, he's a pervert.
He should have stayed in his box, man.
I don't know, but it's
go get your shine box.
Apparently, he's resigning. He's going to have to resign now. Memphis Barbecue Supply, folks. So we are getting into football season. People are tailgating. Of course, next week is Labor Day weekend. Talk about the weather we're going to have next week. People are going to be out grilling, doing those things, whether you're at a game tailgating or at home watching football and want to fire up that grill. You need the supplies? Well, Memphis Barbecue Supply has you taken care of when it comes to charcoal, when it comes to wood, when it comes to sauces and rubs, any other supplies that you need. Memphis Barbecue Supply has you taken care of. I was there earlier this week getting me some supplies. And boy, let me tell you, they are well stocked. Next week for Labor Day weekend, they'll have a sale. I was talking to Jimmy, and he told me going to have a sale. All kinds of great deals going on next weekend for Labor Day weekend. So a chance to stock up for the football season and for the fall at Memphis Barbecue Supply, 7041 Stage Road, 7041 Stage Road. That's where you'll find them. mbbqsupply.com is the website. You can order online. Follow them on social media. I saw yesterday he was posting a bunch of stuff that they got in on Facebook and their social media pages. They let you know when new things are coming in. They do recipes and other things on there as well. Again, Memphis Barbecue Supply, 7041 Stage Road at mbbqsupply.com.
All right, time for us to fly. John Barlas, Tony Barnhart, Lawrence Dockery, we thank them for joining us on the program today, and we thank you folks for listening. We appreciate all your calls, your texts, your tweets, and just, again, being there for us. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56. He's here for you. He's coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you bright and early on Monday starting at 7 a.m.